Now I turn on.
The heck was that?
No, I turned it off.
Hey.
All right, we're good.
Good?
Yep.
All right, everyone, it's 2:04. We'll go ahead and start the workshop. And in attendance, we have Bob,
Why don't
myself,
you take your microphone and push it down a
Ed,
little bit?
and Carol. In absence, we have Doug. We'll go ahead and we'll start with the presentation. Is it going to be Stephanie or Paul that's going to start? Paul? Okay.
Good afternoon, Board of Supervisors. Paul Flores, for the record, Public Works Director. I am also joined by Stephanie McLean. She's our Stormwater Specialist. Between the both of us, we'll provide you with an overview of this today's presentation. So today, we're going to be discussing the long-awaited trunkline pond aeration, in particular, the trunkline aeration project. And although there's a lot of material in the presentation, we'll try to make it as brief as possible so that we get to the root or to the policy decisions and the guidance that we need from the board.
Yep, hang on, I'm just trying to get it sized. All right.
So today's goal that we're trying to achieve is determine whether the Board of Supervisors wishes to proceed with expanding the district's aeration program to include the 10 trunkline ponds. We have two options as far as implementation. One is to do all 10 at the same time, one project. The second option is to phase those over a 3-year period, doing a third each year. And then finally, it's just to try to get some board direction if there's anything else you would like for us to consider and to evaluate as part of this project.
Hi, Flavia. Oh, I'm Doug.
Let the record show that Doug Bank has arrived.
Next slide. So we wanted to start off with just a brief overview of our stormwater programs. There's 8 major ones. I won't go through all of them. I think everyone here is pretty familiar. But today the focus is going to be on aeration and the trunkline project. So that being said, Stephanie will kind of give a walkthrough of aeration, the purpose and the science behind it, and why we want to proceed with these 10 ponds. So I'll hand this over to Stephanie.
Yeah, so as Paul said, as you know, the stormwater program has many things that we deal with. So we do vegetation on the ponds, we do lake bank restoration, fish stocking. So as you're going through this presentation, just keep in mind that aeration is important. It has a lot of benefits, but really it's a multi-step thing. We have a lot of components that go along with the stormwater department. So
80, if the most lets me.
So why aeration? The benefits of aeration, the biggest thing is it's a long-term program that's going to help that's okay. That's all right. That's going to help the water quality of our ponds. The biggest way it does this is it brings oxygen from the surface to the bottom of our pond and circulates our ponds. So anything at the bottom like phosphorus and nitrogen that are just sitting there, you're not going to get those stratified layers that you see in a pond. It's going to bring it together in a big circular motion. So as a result, you're going to have mosquito control, it improves fish habitat, you're going to have less odor, things like that. It's just helpful for the pond. And then here's a diagram to show that, but the first one is pond without aeration. So at the bottom, it's just sitting there in those layers. That's where the nitrogen phosphorus sits. And then as you get to the surface, that's where you're going to get the most contact with the oxygen. Whereas when you put aeration at the bottom, there's a little disc that they put at the bottom, and that's where that air is pumped and it circulates through the pond. Good for your plant life and your fish life and anything like that. So where we stand at Gateway right now, we have a lot of historical data, which is really helpful for this project. We measure water quality every single month. So this is an overview of the past 5 years. And averages that we've seen. So I break it up into dissolved oxygen and then our TSI. So dissolved oxygen is the biggest thing we're benefiting from this aeration. And from the data there, you're going to see it averages about 4 to 5 is where that lands. And that is in standard with our NPDES acceptable ranges. The acceptable range is between a 4 and a 15. So we have been in that range the past 5 years straight. Anything that dips below, it hasn't ever dipped below or above for 3 months in a row consecutively, and these are averages throughout the year.
Are these monthly grab samples?
Yes.
Okay.
And the
So if I'm looking at water quality basin 1 dissolved oxygen,
Yep.
5.79 is 12 numbers added divided by 12. Okay. I can have a big variation there.
because it will vary based on the seasons, and
Mhm.
you're going to get more algae in some seasons and others it's doing really well. So the average as a total, those are just normal.
When a golf course fertilizes a couple lakes, you see it.
Yeah, and that's kind of what we talked
that's-
about.
yeah.
Us.
That's normal. You see progressions throughout
Seasonal.
the year, yeah. And then on the right, you have your TSI, which we've been measuring for the same amount of time. And from past 5 years, it's been in compliance with our pond standards, which you have a threshold at 70, and it usually is around a 40 to a 50.
Other question, are these taken at the weir?
Yes. So all of these
All
are
of these are
taken
at the weir.
at the weir 1 through 5. You can move on to it.
But there's some Pelican data that's not from the weir. You ignore that?
I don't have that data. I know that your pond subcommittee takes those data samples from each of your ponds,
Yeah.
but eventually they all flow
we-
into
We
the
send it to Lee
flowway.
County, and it's in the master pond watch data, but it's not confined to weirs within Pelican, because we were very concerned about the dump. So we monitored that every month for
Yeah.
15 years.
So that's not in, that's not a part of this. This is just only
Okay.
the weirs. Yeah. But this is a little basic overview, a little more depth there, but year-to-year fluctuations are present, but dissolved oxygen is usually 4 to 6, and then TSI is 46 to 63. So we're in good standing, but as part of this project, dissolved oxygen, when you have aeration, usually brings it above a 6%. So if you do add aeration, it is going to boost these numbers a little better. So if you're interested in bringing that into the flowways, then we can do that as part of this project.
How do you calculate the amount of aeration needed per pond?
So we talked with our vendors about that, of how do you calculate how do you put all the aeration in. First, you find where you can set up your power, and based on that, they're going to run your lines out and calculate based on surface acres, how many diffusers are going to be needed in that pond, and then they do all the math. Basically, the company itself, either Aquamaster, Aqua, whoever.
So I think it's not necessarily that what you're asking. The engineers believe that we needed to turn the pond 24 hours. So the math that's being done by the vendor is with the goal of having a 24-hour turnaround.
How many aerators does
So-
it take to turn the
So
pond
it's
over?
not, it's the so the concept is backwards. We as a board told the vendor that we would like to have a 24-hour turnaround. They make the calculations based on that, and
Okay.
that need, the 24 hours came from the engineers, what they want.
And the volume.
Yeah.
To get a full turnover.
The other
Yeah.
consideration,
That's what.
yeah, the other consideration that we looked at Pelican is we wanted them no further apart than 100 feet.
And so to turn a pond over, you either need multiple
Aerators.
aerators,
Diffusers, yeah. at the bottom.
Diffusers.
Yeah.
and is power, maybe power's not the right word. So it doesn't matter how,
You cannot increase the power in each
can't increase
diffuser.
the-
You
okay.
have to increase heads.
okay, all right, that's what I
Okay.
was asking. you.
So yeah, so one head, we
it's not like
never
a-
24 hours unless the pond is this size of the room.
Okay, all right.
And it's a minimum of 1 aerator per pond. You may be up to 2 or 3 turnovers. You don't have to be that high, but that may be the result of it.
Thank you, sorry, didn't mean to.
That's right. You can go to the next slide. So to visualize this for you guys a little better, we have some maps here to show what we're adding and what we already have. So this one is just a complete overview of our lakes and gateway. And then you can move to the next slide, and that's going to show all the ponds that already have aeration and then all the ones that do not. So currently the green ones are the ones with aeration. You have all of Pelicans done, Stony Brook, Hampton Park, and Daniels Preserve, and there's a few in Gateway Greens as well.
Does the board, does it matter? Would it be beneficial if we dotted the volume, like how many aerators are in these?
We
green
got that
ponds?
data.
Yeah, it is
have it.
on the GIS system of how many diffusers in the cabinets and all that.
Not only how many, but exactly where they are.
And then you can go to the next slide. It's going to show the proposed trunk line that's part of this project and what we're proposing here. So these are the 10 ponds that are part of the trunk line. Trunk line meaning all of the ponds surrounding it eventually do flow through the stormwater system to these ponds, and then eventually it'll go out through I-75 over to Weir 1 and eventually to the slough.
Can you go back one? Are these trunk lines, are they aerated today or no?
No.
Okay, all right,
They're
I see.
So
Perfect.
the yellow is what we're proposing,
Okay.
and then the blue is what, if you go to the next slide, that's a little easier.
So the majority of the flow coming from the east side of FPL that comes into either at the Stony Brook FPL or FL4, I think it is, or it comes in at 3. Those are already aerated upstream.
Yes, correct. Everything that comes from Stony Brook comes over to Lake 130 and then.
So Silver Lakes, Botanica,
Yes.
and the other one over there. C.
Country Club, no, the Country
Begins
Club,
with a C.
Colonial Country Club.
No,
Oh,
the
you're
other way.
talking about
Down
on
the street from
Freeland?
you.
Right?
Cypress,
right up the
Cypress
road
K,
there.
Cypress?
Silver Lakes.
Bristol Park.
To the sea people.
Pick one you
The
like.
ones between here and Magnolia where she's at.
Bristol Park
Are-
and Cypress K.
Cypress K, thank
Well,
you.
Cypress K.
None
is-
of those are aerated.
Yeah.
None of those besides Magnolia does have aeration because they had issues in the past and then we added aeration. No.
Okay, so
Okay, you can say.
that's not why we had it, but I mean, I would like you to go more, but I kind of want to stop and just here. The big highlights for us, we decided to look at this 2 years ago, and I think that's when you started implementing, we thought there was going to be a really need. And then with time, we realized there's not much of a need for an aeration as many as you wanted it on Pelican, right? Because before they wanted to be proactive and get aeration to make sure that we not had any issues. Then I believe a year or so later, there was a revision of we don't need that many. It's not, we're not really seeing much of a difference because they never had issues. For me, for how I look at this is our guidelines are pretty stern and we're way below in everything. So we have never had a water issue. And when we do, it's something that, at the golf course or after the golf course, you're going to have an increase on the fertilization there. But that's just monthly, when the ban is gone.
Variation, yeah.
And then that's normal. Some of like Magnolia Lake, and we are in compliance with this. So some of the ponds in Gateway do require per the development order aerations. So we already went to this 2 years ago and we realized that every single pond, because we had some that were not in compliance. So every single pond in Gateway that require aeration per the development order has a working aeration. So we have them, right? To me, the cost, and this is a split cost, right? So we pay 50 and Pelican pays 50,
No,
but it's a split cost of this.
we're only paying for the flowway. We're not going to pay for any of your ponds.
But you pay 50 of the flowway and we pay 50. Or is it,
I don't know, it's
but it's
50.
a shared cost.
Flowways are shared.
This is
Yeah.
minimal. The real money is going to be 01.
Yeah, so.
Ratted on the flow rate.
Yes.
So to me, because aeration is really solely looking at water quality and because historically, we have not had a water quality. We had isolated issues that we treated with as an algae. We haven't had issues with odor. We had issues with odor when there was a fish kill in Gateway Greens, one, I think, or twice in the last 5 years. We had one at Silver Lake. So those are because something happened. So it's a reaction of something. But and being that I was really involved, and I think Ed too, so we do have historical knowledge, like we were out there on the ground. This was not an issue. We thought it may be an issue. We thought like, okay, let's put this project down, farther down 5 years, and then Pelican roll, and then we kind of wanted to jump back. I just don't feel like the need to spend the money on this when all of our ponds are way below, what we are required. And we actually took samples when the ponds committee, we have data, because I have all those reports for 5 years, not only on the trunk line, but on every single pond. And every single one of those results are below the TSI and below the oxygen. So we actually, that data is, she's not providing it, but that data is available to us. So not only the trunk line, everything is fine for the last 5 years. All the additional ponds that go into the trunk line are also fine. So I was okay with going with this route because I thought there was a benefit. But then when Bob kind of mentioned like they were pulling back a Pelican and then looking at it that we don't have it, I just feel like, and it's not like we're even close. It's not like the threshold is 7 and we're a 6. I can see that. We're talking about a 6 and a 15. That's double.
Well,
That's,
and that
Yes, Carol.
truthfully, sorry.
go ahead, Carol.
No, I finish your line of thought and then,
So my line of thought is, while I think it's a great presentation, my mindset, I'm going with the data. And I think we have a lot of projects going on and it's not a time that I want to take it from this because we don't have the time. It's just, I cannot see spending the dollars on ponds because we can spend dollars on ponds and other things. Like when I came in here, this pond right here, that's right here, it needs rocks. I see green areas all over and it's dry season. So to me, it's been 4 months that's dry like that. I haven't said a word because I was waiting to see. So we can spend money where there's a deficit on our pond standards, but not where there's none. That's a true feel and fact on this. That's how I feel. Because yes, Kara.
Okay, I'd like to ask Bob a question. Why did Pelican start so many years ago with aeration?
Okay, their
what
list
was
of the
it?
benefits, that slide, that didn't even hit our horizon. We did it for 2 reasons. First, we had a number of fish kills. And when you had temperature variation, the fish died, the place stank.
Oh,
The second
okay.
reason was a cost benefit, because we know that after a period of time with I'm not call it stagnant lake, but a non-circulating pond, you build up materials on the bottom that will cause, the word they use is die, that the pond will die. So when you put aeration in, that delays that for almost double. Instead of dredging every 20 years, 25 years, you do it every 50 years. So those were the 2 big drivers for why Pelican did it. And fish kills was number
How did
1.
Pelican do it? Did they do it all at once, or did they do a little every year, or what?
We allocated money for a number of years, and we were fortunate because when we started, we were only 40% developed, maybe not even 40%. So the residents paid for Old Pelican, everything off of Pelican Reserve Boulevard. Once Cypress Grove opened, this board modified the permit criteria, and then it fell onto the developer to do it. And again, the primary cost we found out initially was in getting power to every pond. That was negligible for Cypress Grove because it was all flat land. FPL put in plenty of power, and we had no problem with power sources for that 30 ponds.
So looking into the future then, I mean, it is only going to help Gateway if they aerate their ponds down the road.
I won't disagree with what Flavia said. I'm not sure that it justifies the expense.
Expense.
However,
But maybe if we
There-
did it a little at a time,
well, okay, going back to the title of this
I mean,
presentation.
because isn't that what Pelican did? They did,
No, we just, our criteria was a couple $100,000 a year.
okay,
Same thing we did with the down-south drainage. We didn't make one big master project. We just said, what's it going to cost? It's going to be $2 million. Well, we put $400,000 a year at it and did it in 5 years
okay.
because we didn't want to have assessments.
So I think looking down the road, it's only going to help your ponds to have them aerated. But I don't think we have to go into a big project all at one time and do it.
Here's another.
Why can't we just do a pond a year
Here's another thing that I brought this up, and then I'll go back to
or
that.
2 ponds, or
When we did it,
Depends how much.
and it baffled me this too. So when we did it, we're spending millions on doing the pond restoration, right? So in the beginning, I never understood why we didn't take core samples, and we did because we don't know how much muck is in there. So the muck, the debris that we're talking about, it's less than an inch. We have debris on ponds by the pool that is a foot and a half deep. Aeration ain't gonna touch it. So when
Well,
we
we'll degrade it if it's there. It will help disperse it.
a foot of it?
Well, I don't know
That
how-
is not
how much
what
per
That
year.
is not what our vendor said. If you
Well,
read the
that's
specs.
different than what we got.
Because your ponds were newer and our ponds were, let's be call it, they were neglected. Nothing, there was hurricanes, there were branches, there were trees. So we have so much, so aeration ain't gonna do that. They came out with okay, let's have a bacteria, but let's throw this bacteria into the pond and we'll eat the organic matter. It was an inch. And then when we went out, we paid, I think, what, $2,000 to have a SI, one of the 2 vendors that came in and they did the ponds. The
Bathymetric
we
survey.
realized we had like this much and the bacteria wasn't going to cut it because that needed removal. So I don't even know a lot of the ponds are in compliance with the volume of water that we're supposed to be holding.
Yeah, we had one pond.
So we had it's a big can of worms because I'm thinking you're spending all this money on doing a pond, but then you miss to take one more step, which is calculate the volume that is in this particular pond, because what we also found out is a lot of ponds had specifications to be 12 to 15 feet deep, and they were like 8 and 10.
Yeah.
So right there, so to me, and again, the board at that time decided, look, let's just go with this. So those are things that we're out of compliance. So those are the things that we should be looking at one-off. Spend the money, go look at this pond. This pond's given an issue. Okay, we just realized this pond, it doesn't hold as much water as it's supposed to. And so that would help us with the flooding time, with the calculations, because all the calculations that's getting done by South Florida engineers in our district is on the volume of water that is on the development order, not the actual that's here. So those are actually problems that we have that we should be looking at. That's how.
We had one, I'll call it a problem pond, 33.
And after you're done, because poor Doug is like.
We had one problem, well, just to chime in on that. Pond 33, we could not keep that maintained in a normal function of what we were doing. So we had 3 different companies come in and do core sampling on that pond. And then we engaged, and I believe it was for 3 solid years, with Met Tower using the biologics. And it was some outfit out of Cape Coral, but Met Tower was the person that
Fred.
did it.
I think
Right.
Fred, the meaning Fred.
Don't remember the guy's
Because we
name.
use the same guy to Magnolia that you use
So
over there.
we did I won't call it intensive, but a close look at what we got for our biologicals, because they were twice what our regular chemicals are. At the end of 3 years, we saw absolutely no difference. So, and then we were told that our microbes died and we needed to restock it again at a significant cost. So we went away from that. But I do believe, because, this was one of the selling points of whatever the companies were that were leading us at the time, that there is merit to the fact that sooner or later, as you're saying, if there's some a foot tall, sooner or later that pond's going to flip to the point where you got to dredge it to revive it. And now that's real money.
And that's what that board at that time wanted to put another Band-Aid, and it's like, oh, let's take the route of the aeration. Yes, aeration will help with the quality that if you need it, but we have other issues that we should be taking a look at it, that they are
It
very
almost sounds like those other
costly.
issues
They're
are
not- nothing to
pond
do
by
with-
pond.
Exactly, they have nothing to do with the aeration. I just don't want us to sell the idea of putting aeration where currently factual, there is no need for it. It's 100% proactive. But we have other issues currently on the pond that need to be addressed. Some are not as costly, some are costly. And I would like to staff to focus on the needs as right now, reacting to what we have, than being proactive. That's just.
Well, the other aspect of this,
Okay, and I forgot about that, no.
No, you got one, go ahead.
I forgot.
Well, I mean, if I'm hearing everyone correctly, whether it's Pelican or
Doesn't matter
us
where it is,
or
right.
wherever, it seems like you're either addressing immediate need, a fish kill, maybe excess water quality or algae or whatever, immediate need, or it's preventative. And preventative, what I'm hearing is like in 2 buckets: preventative from water quality and preventative for major maintenance, dredging. Is that accurate? So you're
Not
water
anymore.
quality is not really one of the criteria that we use.
For area-
We
for
have,
aeration?
we have
Well,
never,
but that was, but from a pond justification, that is one of the, even though
Okay.
Pelican didn't do that. So,
And the dredging, it wouldn't apply to any of the ponds in Gateway. Given that our ponds are more than 20 years old, the majority of the ponds, even the newer ones, have significant amount of muck. And if they don't, the ones that I recall, at least 4, they were not deep enough. And one issue of one particular pond was that the layer that was in, it was actually the limestone, and the limestone was actually releasing all that. So aeration really did nothing for it.
Okay.
So it's a specific, because they're live
Right, right.
bodies, a specific pond needs a specific needs.
but
It's not.
my point is, like, if you're spending money, you're either doing it because there's an immediate need, or you're trying to prevent any degradation to quality, or you're looking to prevent major maintenance down the road. For dredging a pond, on average, what does that cost?
Big money.
that's big bucks.
Big bucks.
Big
It's got to be totally
Significant,
drained.
okay.
And then what you take out's got to be hauled away. It's hazardous.
And that was,
And then we've talked this before. So on
expensive.
average,
$1 million
how many,
probably.
okay, so how many years? Is it every 30 years on average?
That's probably a good number, 25,
Okay,
30.
so we're at a
20 to
point,
25.
we're at a point where we've probably gone beyond,
Well beyond.
way beyond. Okay, so I think I hear, and I was curious about the cost Because let's say if we're looking to offset aeration costs to dredging, okay, even as expensive as I believe aeration is.
I would go with aeration.
Well, I know, but I'm saying like,
You're not gonna.
there's no point, I think what you're saying is there's no point of aerating ponds that have no current water quality issue. And what, at that point, it's preventative maintenance. And the preventative is really around major maintenance, which is the dredging. You know, aeration costs versus dredging, that's significant
$1,000,000.
difference. So we're not, if we don't aerate, we're minimally offsetting our dredging costs. But if we're, why put aeration in if it's not going to impact the long term? And we're already at that point. When we were doing the ponds, and this is my other question. So bank restoration versus, let's say, floor maintenance. So when we do bank restoration, we did not do any floor core samples or any bathymetric, right?
No.
That's what you were saying. We did.
We did a few, and that's when we
Yeah.
realized it's really bad. So let's not look at it. That's really what.
Right.
That's really.
And it
what
would have
was
added another $1 million onto if we were doing dredging on top of. So, but in the future, even though we have done bank restoration on some of these ponds,
what it helps with.
dredging will or will not negatively impact the.
You won't have a choice when it comes to dredging. When the pond dies, you're
You
going to
have
dredge.
to do it, yeah.
That's not a choice.
So okay, so
You'll see that.
And
I'm going back-
one last question. And is it inevitable that ponds reach their shelf life if they're not, let's say, properly maintained? Like, so are
can't
we on a
answer
path
that.
that our ponds will die at some
I
point?
can't answer that, but I was led to believe by all the educational forums we went to that, yes.
Yes, I
The answer to that is,
eventually, yeah.
eventually, it's going to die. Now, it's interesting because this leads me to what the purpose of today's meeting was. Because when I saw that we were here because of a trunk line, that spun my head 180 degrees. The last thing you want to do is the trunk line, because you've got water moving through there. What you're trying to preserve, protect, and defend are the various ponds that feed that
Satellite
trunk line.
ponds that
Yeah,
feed it, yeah.
that's where the problem occurs. I'm ambivalent whether we go one way or the other, but I think as a board, if we're going to do it, I would like to see us get away from the trunk line philosophy and just say in general, if we're going to do it, then pick them based on geography and start at one point and go.
Like we
you
did
get
with the
everything.
ponds, the next
Yeah,
severity or the highest potential for.
Well, I don't even know if they have potential, but just pick a spot and go, because here's where my puny little brain works. Half the year, the flowway flows. You don't need to do anything for that. It's flowing. That's why we didn't do the flowway in Pelican, because we were told we didn't need to. It's flowing. So if it's worth spending the money, and I'm on Flavia's side there, I got a tough time justifying this, but if we're going to do it, I would like to get away from the trunk line philosophy and just say we're going to aerate and then pick a zone or whatever zone and work our way through the whole community in however number of years that takes.
So
I have a
That makes
question-
more
I have a
sense to
question
me.
for you. Because I went back to your slide that says why aeration. Nowhere in there it says that aeration will help with muck, okay? And I don't think it does. So you.
Okay, all the
So
studies
I
we
get
got
to my
said it
point.
does.
Yeah, well, so I need that from the vendor, because muck is like this very fine, almost like baby powder, underneath. So you're gonna put the aeration in there. I'm saying because it happened right now. You put the aeration in there, because Lee County did a beta test on our pond. The diffuser went straight down. It buried itself into 1 foot of muck, and then it doesn't work.
Absolutely, but over time, by circulating the
Yeah,
water,
but not
it clears a halo around that.
Yes.
So we did talk to our aeration vendor about it, and when we did the bathymetric survey in 2022, we also did core sampling like you were talking about. And we have all the data of how much muck was at the bottom
You did core sample in, I think, 4 ponds.
and
That's
all the
it.
trunk line. We have the
On
data.
okay, on the trunk lines.
Yes.
But we're talking about the ponds, right? Because you didn't do it. I think you did, if not 2.
Okay, let me back up because this is before Stephanie. All of this came about when we did that 2023 bond series. And that's how this original concept of bathymetrics and aeration all started. And so then This was, hey, let's just run the numbers. This is not a, we're not going to go run out there and do it. This is a run the numbers and let's see what's viable. From our perspective, from a staff perspective, it's, and I've talked to a couple of you individually, but it's policy needs to be set, which in our permit criteria manual, any new development, they have to put in aeration 100 feet apart. And whatever the policy is, if the policy is aeration all over or partial or as determined by 5 years worth of data, et cetera, that policy needs to be set. And then the second part of that is the funding source. Now, based on the historical data, and this is the beauty of this exercise, right, is it gives staff the opportunity to go back. We got new eyes. I'm new. You guys have a lot of historical knowledge, many of you, is what's the end result here? What's the end game? Carol, kind of to your point is, is the cost benefit, what are we trying to accomplish here? Because at the end of this project, what do we want to say we accomplished? The pond bank project, the pond bank restoration project, that's easy.
Self-evident.
Self-evident. We're back in compliance, et cetera. We have long-term benefits. That's an easy given. This one, it's a little bit more difficult. But you as a board have to determine and decide what is the end game here? Like, do we want to spend $2 million and put, aeration in all of our ponds? That's the rough off the cuff number.
And that $2 million just for capital, just to put them in.
Yes.
Plus you have the cost
O&M.
of
Operating
O&M
maintenance.
yeah.
So this
is very expensive.
This sample is just to show you what the bigger termed cost could be. I know, Ed, you and I have talked about cutting it, you can calculate it in different ways, either surface acres or, rough estimate on a per pond basis. But no matter how you cut this is millions of dollars. And Flavia, to your point, do we want to spend $2 million on this, or is there more pertinent things that we would rather spend that money, not necessarily to get into compliance, but to ensure compliance?
Priority. There are
Can I ask a question?
priorities.
Is there another alternative to dredging? Is there a long-term, let's say, I was thinking aeration, what you're doing is, within the area, you're increasing flow and that stuff goes somewhere and get whatever. Is there another?
There wasn't when we looked.
There's not an option for long-term.
No.
I'm not of the opinion that we have got enough data to show or any need or necessity for dredging
Well, we
at
don't,
this point.
we don't
Nothing.
have a dead pond.
We don't have
Nothing. We don't have-
the data right now, correct?
We don't have that data.
It's not a problem until it's a problem.
Yeah.
for
Till
us.
time dies, we won't
No,
know.
What we do have,
listen to what Ed is saying. We don't have the data. He's not saying we don't have the problem, guys.
what
We
we
don't
have
have the data because we were afraid, let's just be honest, we were afraid to go out there and get the data because we knew once we got the data, then we were held responsible, making sure that it's in compliance. That's what we did. We said, let's not look for the data because we're so afraid of what the data is going to show.
I'd like to see, before we go any further, because I disagree with what everybody's saying. First of all, I think the data we've got is very, very questionable because of the fact it's grab samples. You go out there in our ponds and go to Basin 5. Look at Basin 5. And why is Basin 5 the worst? Because Basin 5 has no aeration upstream, downstream, instream, or outstream. Nothing. As you go further north and you pick up the communities that have the aeration, what happens? Your water quality, your DOs go up. That should tell you right off the bat that our problem is not at the north end and the west end of the system. It's from basically Weir 4 back south. That's where I would like to see us go, is attacking basin, the flowway, like you've got starting at, can you bring up the bit? Can you bring up the picture?
Where's Basin 4?
Yeah,
Basin 4 is the Weir over at the end of the golf course.
which is always higher because the
That's
golf
at the
course,
end of
they
pond
have no
number,
restrictions, so they release.
about
fertilizers
pond,
once a-
Doug, about pond 127. Start there. That's right above where Stony Brook comes in and then goes south. But before doing that, since we bring up the question and we don't know the answer, let's do a detailed bathymetric study like we did in 2015 that shows this information, and it does show a problem with sedimentation on the bottom of these ponds. It does show a problem. But where we're talking about depth, they're talking an average depth of 10 inches. And only 2 of those are in the flowway, but they are 10 inches. But there's more than that on that sediment. It's what's in that sediment.
Yeah, that's
For
a real
years,
danger.
we dumped copper sulfate in here like
Yeah.
it was going crazy. They did the same thing in Naples, and they ran into a lot of problems when they came in to do pond aeration. And they went and checked sediment and find out it had real high levels of copper sulfate. We need to know all that before, one, we go in and put aeration in and stir that up, because unlike what Flavia was saying, when you take and go in there and you set those deals, the heads apart at about 100 feet, you turn that power on and you're in the flowway, what's going to get is you're going to get that stuff stirred and it's going to go downstream. It's going to be carried downstream. Now, it may stop the first time it loses velocity and drops back down and finds another place to park. But the issue is you are going to stir it up. I think our issue is what are we stirring up? Are there any heavy metals that's in that material? That's in what I call Basin 127 or Lake Pond 127 South, which is where I think we need the predominance of the work. Probably looks like to me, just eyeballing it, you're about half of the size of what's purported right now.
And is there a fear too, let's say those ponds around the golf course, because there probably is more fertilizer and those type of things, part of me says it's might be better for that to settle within those ponds than to stir them up and then push them downstream where it could have maybe more negative impact down.
Well, your
down the
problem
road.
is someday, they like aerated lagoons and wastewater treatment plants, someday they will turn over. And when they turn over, it's going to be bad. You don't want to have that happen.
Yeah.
You don't want to have that happen. But you do bring up a point. Look at that, everything from Pond 127 South, and what do you see on the west side of it almost the whole way?
Blue.
Golf course. Golf course, almost the whole way. Our problem is that on the non-golf course side, times of the year that this would solve, aeration would solve some of the algae issues we've got. There's where aeration is going to come in addition to being water quality for the fish and that type of thing. It's going to help on that algae problem we have. And we do have an algae problem at times of the year south of the Weir 4 in both Basin 4 and Basin 5. We have it. And it's a pain in the neck. It's ugly. It stinks. So this would solve that problem. But I don't know that we're ready yet to go and just jump in and say, let's do from Basin or Pond 127 South until we know exactly what the bathymetrics show on Pond 27, 24, 16, 14, 9, and 2. What do those 6 ponds show? Those are not only flowway, those are ponds. They're ponds. They're just part of the system. It just so happens it connects A and B.
Well,
But it benefits a lot of people. But there's where I would attack and go with directing our attention to try to solve the south end of our basin before we do anything else.
So I want to look at this from a different direction, and more from a funding and financial perspective. So we know we have large projects currently on the books, meter project, irrigation, just to name a few that have pretty significant price tags. If I'm looking just on public works and I think about just pond funding in general, what are the areas that we have identified as areas requiring funding for ponds? And that's maintenance, ongoing maintenance, continued pond bank restoration, and then aeration, and I'm sure some other things. When I look at those 3, what are the most critical as far as severity that we know of today? And then if I take those pond bank and I deck them up against full public works items, where would they stack rank as far as need and severity? Now, the pond aeration and dredging, we don't know the severity because we don't have the data, or at least we don't have significant enough data. My question is, at this point, do we want to open the door to take on another project? Or is it something that we identify as a potential need? We continue with our existing strategy. We focus our attention to maintenance and our continued pond bank restoration, but knowing that we've got significant other projects that they're gonna cost, and maybe we just don't have the tolerance to even look, to turn a rock over to see what may be underneath it. Maybe we postpone that for a year or two. I'm not saying that's the right thing to do, because I think our philosophy as a board has been, we don't kick the can. we try to address it, even if what we address causes, impact to funding and must do it. 'Cause I don't,
So why don't we look at doing one pond with aeration and see if the numbers improve or not?
well, I'm not saying we don't do aeration. That's a difference. So let me clarify.
But they will.
Well, let me clarify. I'm not saying we don't move forward with an ongoing aeration project. What I'm saying is we limit that and we don't necessarily go in and do some of the extensive sampling, because once we do that, we're going to have data and it may force our hand to do something. So we're almost operating in ignorance is bliss right now. And I'm not saying it's the right thing to do. I'm just calling it out.
Right.
And that's exactly what I say, that if we're gonna make decisions, that's what we're gonna do. Before we do that, I think a vendor is gonna sell us their product, right? I wanna ask the vendor, what are the consequences of us going out there, not knowing what type of materials are under those ponds, not knowing how big is the monster that's going to be if we go ahead and do that without knowing? Because if we go ahead and do it, like Ed's point, we don't know what's out there. Is it going to make it worse? And really bring our hands to the fire in compliance with the state and say, now you have to do it, and you don't get to play 2 years to fix it. You're going to fix it now because this is a bigger issue, right? So I guess that's a question that I like. What if we have something bad out there, just like happened in Naples?
The only thing that you can do is literally do your bathometrics and your core samples.
That's what I think needs to be done.
So here's to
But
kind
if you
of,
find something, is there any, what is the, if we find something and we have to fix it,
Yes, yes.
what is
Because
the
we're gonna
time frame on that? Like same thing with the
I don't
ponds. I
know,
mean, that's the reason why we're doing a lot of those ponds, is we
None
had to bring them up
none
to
of our
code.
permit criteria have time limits. If
Okay.
Tony's our attorney, if I'm mistaken, I don't think nothing has, you must do by unless they feel like we're playing them and then they come and tell us you're not in compliance, you have by this day to fix it, right?
The agency.
The agencies, yeah,
If-
so that's usually how it goes. We don't have a time, like you must fix this in 30 days.
If we would determine that we're going to put in aeration, and we determine that we're not going to make it a master project, but a multi-year project, and that multi-year means that we're going to do 6 ponds a year, whatever. You do the mathematics, you do the core samples, you get it done. You can't go back to see whether you're making progress or not for probably a minimum of 5 years. It's
You
not
won't
an
see- yeah,
overnight
you're not
process.
So it's
gonna
a
see
slow
anything.
burn
You
on
won't,
Yeah,
that's
very.
exactly right. So you won't see the benefit or, the positive gain to it. However, you'll know intuitively that you're better off with it than you are without it.
Yeah. And I have one more question for you guys. I would imagine if we're going to sample, we'd have to sample every one of our ponds to create a baseline.
No.
No?
What?
You don't
No.
have to?
Wait, for what we said, we talking about
If
water
we do,
sample?
we have to do bathymetrics for every pond in order to create a baseline.
You're not only going to want to do bathymetrics, you're going to want to take a
Course.
sample of
Yeah,
every
course.
pond.
Whatever it is, whatever the
Both
package
they're
is.
hand in glove, they're the
Yeah.
same.
Yeah.
But my question is, do you only do a selected amount, or do you have to do every
Well, it
pond?
depends on how much money you're going to spend a year.
Well, that's my point. It's like, how
You need
much
to
is
do
it?
every pond, because if you're going to go in there and put air, you want to know what you're stirring up.
But it could be over
The-
10
Well, you
years.
even go back to the ones we've already done as
Yeah,
well, right?
For me,
Like, we
I
need to,
think I
we need to
would
know
have
what the health of every pond is, do we not? Not just water
Well,
quality, but,
yes, but to me, I never understood the reasoning why we didn't do that prior to starting the lake embankment project. Why didn't we just did that as one more line item? Because if you already have mobilization over there, you already have the vendor out there, doesn't mean that that vendor can do that. but
right, it would have
so-
been nice, but we didn't
but-
do it, but
We
still.
do it based on
we're still
cost.
on the project, so we still have ponds that need to be done.
We'll make those.
So make those.
We didn't do it based
Yeah.
on cost and the age of the ponds.
So, but my point is, is it a best practice? If we're gonna do this, we would get core samples bathymetric for all the ponds, and if so, how much would each pond cost? So if it's a big
Like
number, we can't do it
$5,000.
all at once, we have to do it.
I don't think that's necessary. I'd
Yeah.
start,
I don't either.
I'd
That's a big
start
number.
with ponds that you've got
18
listed
site
right
18
here on the
piece.
list at 96 and go north, or 127 go south.
The ones that we
Take
don't have
the-
aeration on
The
today.
ones we don't have
Okay.
aeration on, the ones that are on the flowway. I talked to Ernesto de la Vega up at Pond Watch. He's very knowledgeable of Gateway, has been here for years with us. He says he thinks exactly what you're doing is the way to do it, exactly the way to do it. The issue is it always comes down like anything else, what's it going to cost? Ours is a little bit more than that. I'm not so worried about the cost because these numbers look very good. What I'm worried about is that we don't know, and that is what's these sample results and what's this pond depth versus what they were designed for. Because we might find that this could lead to something further and much more extensive than just adding air.
So
And the last thing we
You
want
have
to do
no
is
way of
go in there.
knowing whether they were built properly or not.
Well, if you're going to do work, design it the right way, and the right way is to collect the data. We don't have the data. I'd start on those 6 or 8 ponds, get the bathymetrics on them,
we
get
have
that
that.
information.
We did bathymetrics in 2022. That's what, and core sampling.
On all
So
the ones up the flowway.
on this trunk line project, that was done back in 2022. And so you have the projection.
Actually, I haven't seen that. All I've seen is the 2015 report.
Yeah, that's the only one I have.
But we
That's
also
from
need
the
them
same guy,
outside the
Fred.
trunk line.
I saw your
Is
document.
this the one that was done by, what was his name? Keith?
Fred, I think his name was Fred.
Jeff
I
Keys?
thought it was Keith.
Jeff Key, that's
Jeff
it.
Keys.
Jeff
That
Keys.
helped-
He's
yes.
one that helped
Yes,
us.
Jeff
But that
Keys
was
is- yeah.
that was a very
I haven't seen that, but
less
does
than
it,
robust.
but does it
Because
show
he had
analysis.
sample
He had a
data?
new
scroll up.
Does it have
equipment,
data of
wasn't
what the metals and
calibrated,
things
and-
are?
It-
Because if
it was very
if
limited in
Zosa's
what he
doing it
gave you
twice,
direction.
if we've got it, I've not seen it.
So that was provided to us back in 2022, which is, again, what established and started this conversation. We have the core sampling, we have the data, we can provide that. Again,
see
we're
that.
just looking right now for the policy, and if the policy is the intent is to do all ponds throughout Gateway, like Pelican has done,
I don't
then,
think you can do that right now, Chelsea. I don't think we have enough data to make that call.
okay.
Well, maybe that might be the plan, but it may be a 10-year plan.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
And can you
So-
tell me what, for 2026, what do we have budgeted for aeration and bathymetrics?
So we had funding in the
bond,
bond
it's in the
project.
bond.
We don't have any more funding in the bond project because we chose to use that for the golf course side of Lake 109. And then we had some bids that came in high for the basin cleaning. So there is no bond funding right now.
So no bond
No-
funding.
no
and
funding. No O&M. All we do is O&M on
So
the,
we have, today,
$0
we have $0 for
For
aeration and
future
bathymetrics.
projects.
If you're talking-
We're gonna have to subsidize from somewhere else.
Yeah, if you're talking about the money, and they're guessing somewhere a little bit south of $600,000 for the whole flowway. And we're talking about cutting that in half, ballpark. Then you're looking somewhere in the neighborhood of about
Said you're
$300,000.
still
The price
focused on the
is in
flowway.
Do what?
You're still focused on that flowway.
Yeah.
That's a waste of money.
Yeah, no, it's
Let's
not
focus
according
on
to,
it. Well,
not
I mean,
according to an expert.
You got your opinion, I got mine.
No,
But
it's
let's
not
do
my
the
opinion,
bond.
Bob. It's an expert's opinion.
Well,
So-
where do you
we-
think I
we-
got mine from, Ed? I didn't pull it out of my ass.
But anyway.
But that's why we didn't do the flowway, because you've got it's a river. It's a
that's our
stream.
deal. That's
Why
our
are you
deal
putting
for
money
talking
in
about.
that?
What I want to see right now is I'd like to see those 2022, that data.
Me too.
I've never seen
I
We
wa-
it.
should, we
I
can
have
share that
never seen it.
report.
Yeah.
They did not find anything material that would concern us at this point in time.
So there's no metals, nothing in that water, in that sediment at all.
I would have to double check that.
I want to make sure.
Well, you ought to
Because
compare that to
Muck.
some of
I
the
can speak on muck. I
aerated
know it was brought up.
Stony Brook ponds.
So that's what I'm talking about. When you take and put a.
They got them? What do they look like? These
When
don't?
you put a
What do they look
sledge
like?
judge in the deal and pull up the sample, that's what we're testing. That little 12-inch or 8-inch or whatever thickness it is.
so we
That
will,
tells us
If
what
I'm
we've done.
walking away from today's conversation, what I think I've picked up on is we do have 2 priorities, aeration and data, bathymetrics and core. I don't know if we have landed exactly on where we need to focus,
What are resources?
put those, but we still feel that aeration is important. But we can't look short-term or long-term without data.
And I do agree with Bob, that's a good point. I would like to see a pond, so a pond that is the same age, because that's the
That's why
only.
we take Stony Brook.
So I want to do a pond, one of our ponds that's 15 years old, and a pond that's 15 years old with aeration over there. Do they look any different?
Yeah.
That's what
Is
I
there a
want.
difference?
I'm not talking about the water quality, because I'm not concerned, because we don't have that issue, but the sediments and everything else. I just,
so if I could
So
just
let's
add a
get, let's
couple.
get the data that we have available, distribute that to the board, make sure that we all have access to
Keep in
that.
mind, all the ponds that we're talking about right here are 35 years or over.
Every pond in the community is
35 or
35
over.
You have any ponds that
That's
aren't?
a big difference. Big
So-
difference.
I think the newest pond we have is 2006 and 2008. Magnolia, and
Harborwood
then
might
over
be
here.
the newest.
Yeah,
Harborwood is.
yeah.
So to
But
answer,
Arborwood should have aeration,
yes, they do.
because
They
that's
do.
in the permit.
They do.
criteria.
So Flavia, to answer your question earlier, we all kind of danced around the whole elephant in the room of we don't know what we don't know. Well, the regulatory agencies don't know what they don't know either, right? So that's kind of the point, is if we start to produce this information and we have this, it's a public record, everything we do here is a public record. Not, ignorance is bliss, but it's really,
It's transparency.
it's transparency too. So we have the data on these trunkline ponds. We have we got actual costs. So what is presented in this presentation is the actual cost if you chose to say, make this project come to fruition. So generally, the whole point of this exercise was to paint a picture of, we have some information, albeit it's not complete. If we have to do a little bit further, we can. If we want to do a pilot on one that's had aeration to not. But ultimately, you have some data in order to make decisions on this. If you want to kick this to year 10 instead of year 1, or year 5 or 15. Ultimately, the policy has to be set of all or nothing, partial, some, status quo. The funding source needs to be determined. If it's the Pelican way of, we're going to just do a little bit each year and slowly fund it, or we're going to rip the Band-Aid off and do it all at one time.
So many Band-Aids getting ripped off here. I can't handle it anymore.
Yeah, I think right now, let's look at this 2022 data and make a determination. One, do we need more data? If we find that the data that we've got is accurate, then I see no reason then we can't make the decision to go ahead of how we're going to proceed, whether it's phased, how it's phased, the whole 9 yards.
What we will do is the company that did this report back in 2022, we'll see if they can come in.
Who is that?
I don't remember. Superior Waterways. We will
So
see.
it's not the same as the one that was done in 15 then?
No.
But Superior did Pelican also.
I've never seen it. Okay.
So
Superior was our source.
we will bring that back in front of you. We will see if we can get the vendor to come and assist in presenting the data that was done back in 2022. And then we can go from there if you want to action that, or if we want to push that towards the end of our plan.
I really like that, but I'd like you to pick one of the Stony Brook ponds, whichever one, and use that as a baseline of a comparable pond that did have aeration.
Okay, that would
I agree
require,
with that.
that would require getting sediment
Yep.
core
Yep.
core samples and bathymetrics.
Can I just-
So do you want to pick the Stony Brook pond, or do you want our vendor to pick the Stony Brook pond? And then tell us the one
Let
in
staff work
Pelican.
with them.
Let's, yeah, whatever.
And then we'll work with the Pelican vendor to do the same and pick one in
That's the
there.
same
If
vendor.
anything, not all the,
Superior's who
not
we
all
did.
the ponds on Stony Brook, are all the ponds in Stony Brook done with the Lake Embankment project?
Not all of them.
I would suggest pick one that has not been touched by the Lake
Right.
Embankment project, because that, the data will be
That'll-
skewed.
yep.
So if you're gonna do it Stony Brook, I'm fine with staff and the vendor picking, just don't pick the ones that we just touched it, it's not stable. Second question, regarding the aerator, right? Did you guys look into the nano bubblers aerator, or we're just talking about the plain regular aerator? Do you know anything about it?
No.
Okay, so I would like for you to also partner with Ernesto with Lee County Mosquito Control, because there is a different type of bubbler, an aerator. It's called nanotechnology. We did have that for about 1.5 years in Magnolia, and I can tell you that there were times during the year that 35 to 40% of my pond, it was covered in filamentous algae. We're not talking about 5%, we're talking about 30 to 40, right? And we put in that bubbler there for a year. So we didn't add any heads or any additional diffusers. We killed those. We make them stop working. We just had one for the entire pond because we wanted to get the data. So there may be a cost, a little bit of a higher cost for the nano bubblers, but then you may not need as many diffusers for it.
So there could be
Okay,
some cost
so
savings.
if you can reach out to him, he can probably provide you the data for pond 83. And then he can just tell you, what else. And then I think the last time I did tell him, if he wanted to do some more beta testing, just tell us what pond he wants to put this stuff. We're all in, and I think
Well-
we're still into that note.
One of the lessons learned that we discovered into the project was we relied on the vendor to tell us what we needed horsepower. We had quarter horse, we had a third horse, we had half horse, we had 3/4 horse. The end of the day, as we went to a half all the way everywhere, okay, so you get a higher turnover rate on some, but you'll never be beyond it, never be below it. And it made the maintenance so much easier.
And I think that's what I wanted to take a look at that. So
Standardize
I
that.
think we're like in the right track,
Standardize
so
that.
let's figure out what's the best
So
decision.
if I can just recap, so we're clear moving forward. We're going to pick 2 ponds comparable, not done with Lake Bank, one in Pelican, one in Stony Brook. We're going to get a bathymetric and a sediment sample of both of those done. We will get with a vendor who did the report back in 2022. We will get you the report as soon as we can,
We'll see
so
that
you can
report
read that. But
quickly.
we will work on getting a presentation in front of you with that report, and hopefully the findings of the 2 new ponds.
The one I missed was, and I have no problem with doing a Pelican pond. I didn't hear that though. I was interested in the Stony Brook pond because they were all built at the same time. I don't care, you take a Pelican too, but I'll be far more interested in the Stony Brook versus the non-touched pond over here.
Well,
More data is better, so
we
I'm
can
okay
also
with it.
partner with the ponds committee and have them provide, I mean, they're gonna be a few years old, but you're not gonna get a lot of muck in a year or 2, right? So they can probably provide the data they already have.
Use Old Pelican, that's the oldest.
Exactly,
Yep,
so.
and then we'll look at the nano
Nano
bubblers.
bubblers.
All right.
All right, so.
Stephanie, are you good?
Sounds good.
Thank you for the work, we appreciate it.
Ernesto, he's retiring in 2 weeks.
Yes.
Yes.
He
Who
is.
is?
Ernesto
Oh, De La Vega, yeah.
De La Vega, yeah.
Great.
All right.
Bond watch.
So let's go ahead, and I know let's go ahead and take a 5-minute recess, and then we'll start the other meeting, okay?
Need to fill out a public
Alright.
comment request, which is-
Riveting stuff, right?
Well, yeah, because I'm looking at this. I forgot I had all this.
Tony,
Yes, ma'am.
I read all your stuff
yeah.
about ex officio board
Go ahead. Are we recording? Yeah. Yes? All right, everyone, it's 3:09. We'll go ahead and stand up. We'll call this meeting to order. Can we all start with the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. So go ahead and have roll call. We have in attendance Bob, Doug, myself, Ed, and Carol. And I need a motion for approval of the final agenda.
I would like to move agenda item 9B as in boy down to under the administrative agenda items 11E as in elephant, because they're both sidewalks and it's the engineering for the sidewalks, and I think we can talk about them both at the same time. So I'd like to make
I'll second that.
agenda item 9B 11E as an elephant.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So we'll go, wait for Chelsea.
I don't know what happened to her.
All right. All right, everyone, so we'll. Okay, so we'll go ahead and we have some special guests in house today. So we'll go ahead and we'll go with local achievements and recognition. So at this time, the Board of Supervisors would like to recognize 3 students at the Gateway Charter High School. And the first one will be Lucas Manjares Salina. So on behalf of the Gateway Services Community Development District Board of Supervisors, we will proudly recognize Lucas for being a consistent role model and demonstrating outstanding character, especially on the school bus. Lucas is known for his kindness, respect, and willingness to help others. He regularly assists young students and contributes and maintain a safe and positive environment on the school bus. His thoughtful actions reflect on strong leadership, compassion, and a commitment to looking out for others, making him a wonderful example of a great student within the community. Okay. Is he here? Is Lucas here? Okay. This one.
I do the photos first.
You want to do them all at the end?
He's not here. Yeah, because he's
Oh,
not here.
he's not here?
Yeah,
Okay.
but I did say charter, so.
The next student I would like to recognize is Denzel Duarte, senior at Gateway Charter High School. Denzel is a senior representative in Gateway Charter Student Government Association, and he has gone above and beyond to create a school culture of pride and unity. Denzel established at our Gateway News Network, GNN 10, which airs weekly episodes focused on important student events, highlighting a student and teacher of the week, and having a little fun with his Eat My Questions lunch trivia segment. Denzel has also led 3 important community fundraising events, which include a food drive at the Harry Chapin Food Bank, a toy drive for Toys for Tots, and he is currently accepting pet food supplies and food for the Gulf Coast Humane Society. Denzel has been passionately supporting our Strong Minds and Good Hearts campaign by leading our SGA members in monthly reading teaching sessions at our lower campus and including them in his GNN 10 news and social media videos. Denzel has been instrumental in helping to cultivate a strong culture of acceptance and pride amongst our Griffins from grades K through 12. He is an amazing mentor and truly demonstrates our core values of purpose, passion, integrity, and grit. So if we could just
I think there's more.
put our current for Denzel.
You guys want to go do the pictures now?
Yeah.
And then we'll do
Get out of the
Maddie.
photo.
Is Madeline here as well?
And that's Leslie.
Was she?
You say you're doing the food.
Right next to Leslie.
So we'll do this and then we'll.
Stand up in the middle and then we'll do our last ones.
There you go.
Come over on this side.
Would you like to raise money for the soccer?
We're gonna talk to you after the meeting.
We'll get this.
We're together.
You want to come on, family? No. Hold on, Doug. Family, let the family come too. We'll have-
Okay, no, we'll come back. There's one brother that's missing. We're not gonna.
Let's redo this picture.
Get in there. Yeah, you
One more picture, family.
I have one kid missing.
Doug, one more picture. One more picture. Fam, are you guys doing? Oh, yeah.
Squeeze over here with Carol.
We got a delivery. We got that. Where's that delivery at?
Hey, while we're here, let's do Madeline while we're here.
Oh, there we go.
And then-
And then we'll read it?
Yeah.
Okay, let me go get.
No, let's take pictures and then I'll read.
Yeah, I need to get the certificate.
Come on up. Yeah.
One without, one without. And then one with. Now you gotta jump to the other side. Get your steps in.
Smile.
Say water meters. All right, Mom, go ahead. Mom.
Leslie.
Mom, Leslie, ready to go.
Right here.
Twins.
Leslie's not shy.
One more. Sorry.
I'm sorry. That water music, right?
Learn about Maddie. Doug's got Maddie, so if you want to read Maddie's.
Okay. All right, Maddie.
So
that?
the next,
Let me just preface with, this I personally recommended Maddie. So, she's been a big help, and I'll let you read.
we'll find out why.
She even gets music.
So, so the next student that we're recognizing is Madeline Rektorovic. She is a senior at Gateway High School. Madeline has outstanding dedication and service to the district. In the past 5 months alone, she has volunteered more than 80 hours supporting numerous tasks and special events, including the Jingle Jog, along with many other community engagement initiatives. Beyond her extensive community involvement, Madeline excels academically and exemplifies what it means to be a well-rounded, dedicated senior. As she prepares to take her next step in her life, we are confident she will continue to lead with the same commitment, integrity, and heart for service that she has shown in Gateway. So we appreciate it.
Thank you.
It sounds like we probably should have had you on the books. So,
That's a lot of hours.
well, if your work ethic and dedication and commitment is anywhere close to your mother's, you will find success in your life.
Amen.
Absolutely.
So thank you again. We
Thank you all
appreciate
for
it.
coming. Thanks for partnering. Yeah, that's fine.
Are we starting to get more of these nominations coming through?
Yeah, so we're actually partnered with Amber, and we have like an Excel sheet out there, and so the teachers and principals and administration from each school, they are the ones who are recommending, or if they're hearing
Great.
from somebody, so it's coming from them to this Excel sheet, and we try to order. This one we had 3, but that's because the one from last.
That was
There was
one that
supposed to
was
be
last
two.
week.
And
So they're
is
gonna be
this
2
just
every
a recognition, or is there anything else that goes along with it?
No, this is just recognition.
Okay.
You get a little
They
certificate.
can add this to their Bright Futures applications and, recognition like this. And then obviously for the schools, it's them promoting the partnership that we have here.
One thing that we may want to consider, I think will be really cool, is are we allowed to do a scholarship from the district
It becomes difficult, but I guess what
or a grant or some type of,
We can get some volunteer hours.
you can do.
no, what I was thinking is,
You can have private vendors doing it, like sponsor scholarship.
what I was thinking is if, we could do like an annual, scholarship.
$1,000.
Yeah, $1,000, whatever. But in order to be eligible, you would have had to have been nominated or awarded.
Yeah,
this
I'm not sure if
recognition over
that's
the
within
years.
the purview of the district's powers or
All
authorities.
right, just throw it out there.
But,
He's got a lot of kids going to college.
But-
Check it out.
but no, but the district could be sort of, solicit sponsors for that.
Yeah,
And so the
on
district
top
could.
of everything else.
Elementary.
So
say,
we could host it and have someone
Yeah,
sponsor
like
it?
Yes.
Tony's law firm. Could do the
You know,
same
or
thing.
Tetra Tech, our law firm, the other vendors, because seriously, we help, we contribute to a lot of causes.
Okay. All right, well, we'll,
Gateway's a cause too.
Seriously, we do. I mean, we have a
I still
number of
another
causes.
one.
we
I'm
have
not eating
budget
it, right?
for
Giving
we
it
donate
to
to.
Good.
Yeah.
So thank you for doing this.
I think it's awesome.
I do
Yeah,
too.
me too.
Should have been doing it a long time ago.
Oh, wow. He has
That
10,
doubles our
I mean,
attendance.
Yes.
Right, Bob, it quadruples it.
I like Bob's idea. We know who's gonna go fundraiser.
Yeah, get
I like
Denzel on
that.
that.
All right, guys, so, public comments.
I have some. Okay, so Marty Mantonfell has a lot of stuff, so he's gonna have to take a deep breath, so you might wanna just like hold off till the end. He has 6 things listed on his
Okay, he's
sheet.
good. He'll do
So-
3
We can do
minutes.
6
I'm
things in 3
confident.
minutes. It's not the
You
Marty
just-
I know.
Please don't interrupt me, so I won't start your timer until after you tell us who you are.
Okay, Marty Mantonfell, I'm full-time resident at Gateway at Pelican Preserve. So item 9 alpha, I've read over your purchase of new sewer equipment. You gave no cost benefit analysis on how much you spend on contractor emergency services over a 5-year period. So if you bring this equipment in-house, how much are you going to save? Okay, alls I can picture now is purchasing new equipment and we're getting another swirly, which doesn't run. Okay, it sounds like we don't need the equipment. 9 Charlie, proposed revision to the easement use agreement. So what's the consequences if this is not approved? We're gonna have to take up the fence or something? I don't know. 9, it's now 11 Echo and 11 Delta. The sidewalks at Griffin Drive and Tree Line, okay? The Tetra Tech proposals, there's a difference of $22,000 there. What the heck? It's a lot of money. Item 11 Alpha, Timberwood irrigation. Why are we gonna spend $15,000 on the cost of new meters? It sounds like empire building. What's the benefit to Gateway if we take this project on and turn it over, the irrigation, to our equipment? 11 Bravo, Master Trust Project. We're going to see how much money is left that we can borrow. Well, if we can borrow money there, why do we have item 9 Delta to borrow more money? $8 million. So I think those are questions that the board needs to answer. That's all I got. How'd I do?
You did good. You still got a minute and
Thank you, Marty.
14 seconds
Even bring up
left.
a bridge.
All right, and then we have Stacy, is it Fairbaugh? Okay, she has a non-agenda item, a problem with an oak tree. So if you just state your name for the record,
I'm
please.
Stacy Faribaugh. I live in Eagle Point Circle. Never done this before. So I've been a permanent resident for 6 years. We have an oak tree that's behind our house, and it's along Gateway Boulevard, and it's been nothing but damaging to our property. We've probably put $30,000 in our pool when we first moved in 5 years ago, because it's lifted up. The roots have grown under my pool and it's grown under my concrete. We had to replace that. Last year I had to replace my hot tub because it grew in the pipes. It's blocking my solar, and every time the wind or we get a bad storm, stuff's coming off that, and it's crashing into my screens on my cage, and then it has dented my lanai roof. And then underneath our lanai, there's huge roots growing. It's been nothing but a problem, and I begged, please, can somebody take this down? They've taken so many trees down along there. I don't understand why one more is gonna hurt. I mean, it's so damaging, and we are tapped out. I mean, my husband's on disability, we're struggling as it is. It's just been a
What's your address?
12221 Eagle Point Circle.
I have a question. Are you like right by the entrance, like the first or second house? I do
Yeah.
recall this about a few years back. We did trim your tree
Yeah,
because
they
there was
trim 'em, they
complaints
grow right
about the tree limbs
Heading with the cage.
heading the cage. And then I remember I think you work with Elle, and I think this is also prior to you. We have worked with Chris Shoemaker, removing some of the limbs at that time. So
They've
this,
grown back. They
well,
don't move big limbs, they move like the small
it's,
stuff.
that's the beauty of the beast, the
Yeah.
oak trees.
Yeah,
So,
I've had 3 people out there, pictures, agree, but
I have a question, and I'm going by memory regarding if it was our tree or your HOA tree.
it's your tree.
Okay, because I don't
Yeah,
remember
it's
exactly.
right
I
along
remember. I
Gateway.
remember.
We own that, where that sign is for Eagle Point. That's our property, but the tree is actually on Gateway's property.
Is it the big one to the,
Yes.
to the right? of
Yes.
your- Yeah. that one.
And my neighbor, a couple houses down, has had hers uprooted. And I'm scared to death of a storm that's going to happen, because with a hurricane with Ian, our neighbor's big palm tree came down and fell onto our one tree and knocked it down, almost hit our house.
Have you provided to staff? I know you're done with you're done with what you have to say, right? So you can ask their questions. Okay. So have you provided staff like any pictures or any invoices with the damages that are caused to your pool and stuff? Okay.
So what we have offered to date, and this is why Stacy is here, we have said she can take it down at her cost, but if she takes it down, there will need to be one replaced elsewhere throughout the community. It doesn't necessarily have to go back exactly there.
Hardwood
But
for hardwood.
yeah,
That's what
yeah,
I figured.
exactly. But and we told her if she, again, like anything, administrative decisions, she has the right to come here to the board and come to you all and ask for relief on that. I would strongly encourage the district not undertake the removal, considering the extensive of the roots, and if there are any further damages on private property. That's why we recommended it's her and her contractor, whomever. But again, this is a district tree. We would want to have one placed elsewhere.
Have we had any road damage in front of this oak?
No.
Had to replace the sprinklers, dig the sprinklers up several times, because they had problems with the sprinklers.
This is the tree.
I'm just begging to please.
That's one tree?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, really?
And it hangs over our
Oh.
house, our roof.
It's one oak tree and 6 palms, sable.
Okay.
So it's not,
Okay.
no, the answer is no.
And the palms
Okay.
along there have never been trimmed since. we
Yeah.
lived there.
Well,
And-
so
and
that's the thing, like, I went back and some of the palms, and we kind of decided we're going forward that we'll do it because we didn't want to split hairs. Some of the palms, I can tell you, it is your HOA and some of our ours.
Right,
So
right.
that's,
Right.
like,
And
let's
I've-
not just
I
throw
have-
it all,
no,
let's
I've
not just throw it all
contacted
into
them.
this plate.
Yeah, because I thought they were on yours. And
Yeah,
actually they're
no,
on the
so,
HOAs.
so I am inclined with not requiring her to replant it somewhere else, but absolutely I will be opposed to us taking liability where we have none. Does that make sense?
That doesn't preclude us from trimming it.
Trimming is one thing because we have done trimming. I think the removal is a lot more.
Hardwoods are scheduled to be trimmed next year.
Yeah.
We do them every 2 years.
Tony, go ahead, Tony.
Yeah, from a legal perspective, I think we've had this conversation before about roots. I'm on that from many years ago. It's in the district, it's in the Lee County right of way, but the district owns and operates and maintains all the trees. To the extent the roots encroach upon somebody else's property, they can engage in self-help on their property to trim branches and limbs and roots to the property line. And if they kill the tree, then arguably they can be required to replace it. But as a matter of Florida law, they can remove all the roots, remove all the limbs on their
Lateral.
property that encumber their property. Yes, they can do
The
that.
tree's healthy.
Okay, but they can still do that.
Yes.
But I
The
mean,
risk is if it
because
does.
if the
if
tree
they
is
do
not
kill a
healthy, we
tree,
have a
arguably the
responsibility.
Yeah, I don't want, I mean, personally, I don't want to create liability where there's none. And we have, at least I can recall, going back at least 3 times that we have trimmed that tree for you. So we have done something that really don't do anything else. So I think that tells you how much we are willing. But at this point,
We financially cannot.
Where's the
afford to take
HOA
that
involved on
ourselves.
this? Because I only see property line and county. I don't see any HOA.
there's none.
There isn't any. Okay.
One other thing to consider, and I've had this from firsthand experience, if you trim the roots and do like.
That barrier, that metal
the
barrier, yeah,
barrier.
it does help.
In a windstorm like Irma, the tree that my backyard that went over,
back-
went over this way because I had cut and put a root barrier in because it was going into my pool. So
So-
it could fall into the road and then
So
it could uplift.
from what I'm hearing,
Which then it creates a bigger liability for us.
It could,
Because
potential.
we are responsible for the landscaping and maintenance of that, even though it's Lee
Yes.
County,
Yeah.
because it is a county property.
What is the ask again? What would you like us to do?
If you could please take it down. I mean,
Take it
you've
down, okay.
Taken so many down along that road, I don't see what one more would do, especially when it's causing property damage to my house. Like I said, we're tapped out. We've put so much into the pool and everything, and around the pool, the hot tub, the landscaping, that it's just tearing everything up.
Is there a wall there?
No,
There's a gate.
Fence?
Yeah, they've just.
No,
put that.
no wall.
No.
Okay.
I guess Chelsea, if it's cut, if it's cut down, I would suggest not taking, the root system would need to stay intact. You can always, grind the stump grind, and then replace it with another tree or not.
honestly, Tony, I
I'll-
wouldn't want to touch it at all, just in fear of vibrations of grinding down if there were,
it's a mass, it's a big
Okay.
tree. But I mean, I think I actually visited this because there was an irrigation issue
Yeah,
with this.
several.
No, that wasn't the issue. The issue was that the community was tapped into our irrigation, and that's when Chris was here. So
Shoemaker.
I was there looking at that, and I think at that point, either I met with you or your husband and Elle, and that issue was brought up. We're talking about 8 years ago. Yeah.
So Chelsea, we're not interested in taking it down, is that what I think I heard?
correct.
The liability that would be creating.
In precedent.
Okay.
Well,
But we have
thank you.
no
If the
problem if
board
you
want-
wanted to take it down, is that what I
Yeah.
also heard?
No, I didn't say
No, we didn't say that.
No,
What did we say?
they have the legal right to trim it, the roots and the limbs that are onto their property.
Financially, we just can't.
But with the caveat that if that trimming results in the death of the tree, they're responsible for damages caused by the death of the tree.
Removal, then replacing
No
of
problem.
it, yeah.
So we don't want to do anything? I'm hearing.
Unless somebody's willing to make a motion,
Scheduled for hardwood trimming next
the
year,
regular trimming,
the
yeah.
regular standard trimming.
I'll make a motion, we remove it.
Tony, there
Yes.
isn't something that she could sign that they couldn't come back against us?
Like a hold harmless and indemnification, they could do that.
Yes, some legal mumbo jumbo. You don't have something in your
No,
bag
but
of tricks there?
whether that benefits us for the next property owner or not is another question, that's always the issue. And again, to the extent that there are roots going towards your pool, I'm really familiar with that because it happened at my house with my own oak tree, trust me. But again, that's why there is a self-help remedy for the roots on your property, that you can cut those roots at the property line. But
Well,
again,
without prejudice to futures, my motion stands that we remove it.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor. Does anybody second for discussion?
I'll second.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a second for discussion.
Part of
Question?
discussion for me, and I'm extremely sympathetic to this issue because it's happened to me at two different properties. The one thing that we have to consider is the sheer volume of oak trees that go along the roads that are adjacent to property.
Gateway Greens has a ton that are like,
So, again,
That's why I said without prejudice,
I
a onesie.
Taking so many out along there.
I hate it, but
Susie, if you could
if
sit down,
we
please.
open
Let
that
them talk.
door now, then it's going to be really hard for us to turn someone else down the road if there is similar issues. And I am extremely sympathetic, extremely sympathetic.
So,
and I'm in a position that if we're having a difficult time, even if she signs a harmless, whatever we need her to sign, if something happens, then she's gonna have a bigger issue that she's gonna have to deal with because she's gonna have a crack on her pool and everything else. And if it's right now trimming a tree is a problem, which is while it's on her plate, that is something that I also want to think about it.
But the trim won't, a trim, unless you go down and get the roots, is not going to stop the encroachment.
The
of
root,
pool.
the root is your,
For a trim, she's asking for removal.
I know,
but the roots are the issue, correct?
yes.
And the limbs have torn out our screens and our cage.
Yeah. But if they take the tree down, the roots will not be an issue.
So
They
to-
won't be growing.
To Tony's,
See how, this must be an old picture.
They're not, like, there was at one point years back that the limbs were over the cage.
Over actually.
As of right now, I don't recall it, and I just drove by yesterday.
so again, that same line that Tony was referring to that goes down also goes up, and they have the right to do so, and if
Yep.
they're choosing not to do so financial, because of whatever reason it may be, that is private property.
We don't
Now,
have liability by virtue of that encroachment.
so if,
Please go naturally.
as an alternative, and I don't know, I'd have to talk to an arborist, Tony's concept, we could do on our side of the fence. But I don't know how deep those roots are until you start
It's
digging.
gonna make it worse, I'm thinking, if you're gonna cut the roots on this side, there'll be nothing holding to the ground, the wind hits, it goes on top of her house.
No,
That's
he's
my
saying it goes the
personal
other way.
That's,
example.
that's what happens.
That's exactly
I
what
wouldn't do
happens.
that. I
Exactly what
That'll
would,
get rid of the tree then.
on top of her house, yeah, she'll be very happy about it. Yeah. mhm.
It goes to the
on the
side
road.
where
It
the,
won't, it'll go the other way.
Arguably,
Like
it
it
can
or
go
not,
either
the
way.
solution is get
Depends on
rid
where
of the
the winds
tree.
came from. Mine have been at Irma.
So
When is the tree trimming gets done?
next year. We don't go on private property regardless.
Yeah.
So we
I
only
don't think the
maintain.
trimming is the primary thing. I mean, that is even a minimal expense, having someone just cut a couple branches down. Where the cost is removal or even just doing a root prune. I mean, I think that's really what we're trying to decide here.
If you,
Bob, your motion is to remove the tree
tree.
at CDD expense.
Yeah, at no, without prejudice. No, we're not setting
And
precedent.
her signing anything?
Whatever Tony says he has to.
Well,
But that's what Tony's saying, that it's not enough.
it may not be. I mean, and again,
Add a couple more pages.
Add a couple more pages.
Even with prejudice, that still doesn't.
Yeah, I'm not trying to set a precedent.
Yeah.
It's a one shot deal.
well, I guess the question is, you can expend funds for primarily public purpose with a primarily, with
You
a
cannot.
secondary private
Our
benefit.
statute does not
You
allow
cannot spend
us
money
to.
for
It's our
primarily
tree.
private benefit,
It's our tree.
but the
We
benefit.
we are
accrues-
causing her harm.
But there is no benefit to us.
Yeah,
So it's
don't cause
no
them
different
harm
than
anymore.
HOA, I can't spend in private property,
And
our
and again,
statute
the
doesn't allow
harm,
us.
if the harm is from the roots and the harm is from the limbs, she can cut those off at the property line.
Or take the tree down. Okay, get the motion out there.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. No, any other discussion? Carol, any questions? Nope. No? I'll go ahead and call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Aye.
All right, we will
too.
schedule the tree to have removed, and I'll need documentation from Tony for the property owner to sign.
Great.
Yeah, and Chelsea, I would suggest you're right, you're gonna have to leave the roots in place.
Yeah.
You know, otherwise.
I'm
Okay.
gonna call an arborist, and they're gonna tell us exactly what to do.
Right.
All right, thank you, Stacy. We'll be in touch.
Yeah, and it's subject to a hold harmless
We've had this-
indemnification agreement.
Wait,
You gotta
hold
cut
on.
it.
Yeah.
What,
Okay.
that fence that's there, so it's a wrought iron fence,
Yes,
right?
yes.
With columns.
Yes,
Mhm.
it's
So
like hooked to the column.
We will, if the point of, so we're gonna cut it down,
I
and
think the
what
HOA
are we gonna do to the
I think
stump?
the HOA should also be signing a harmless because she doesn't have the authority to sign on the behalf of the two pillars and the fence.
why do you say HOA's involved?
Because the
there's-
HOA owns the
Go on
pillars,
Google.
actually, it's
Property line,
no,
that's the county.
right here.
Drop your little
Right
guy.
on, right underneath the tree.
Hold on.
There's
Get
two
a little guy.
pillars and then there's a fence.
Just open
So
the
she
top
doesn't
up.
have the authority to sign on behalf of the
So
HOA.
those are not showing on here.
They're not showing, yeah.
But they are
There's
on
a-
an easement?
Uh-huh.
It's that wrought iron fence with columns.
That's
So,
like promise.
so is this just as a landscape maintenance easement or for a fence, buffer fence? Is that
No.
what it is?
Yeah.
What's the, yeah, you have the address?
It's
That's
1221
how the
Eagle
HOA's
Point
involved.
Drive, 1221
Circle.
Eagle Point
Oh, it's right
Drive.
here.
What's that
You
come
can
off
act-
the
you can
back of your
actually see it.
property?
So,
See right here? See the pillar?
so
There's
we're
one here,
saying
then
we're
there's
gonna
one here.
cut it down, and what are we gonna do to the stump?
Nothing.
I am going to have an arborist tell us professionally
do.
what we should do.
Put a picnic table on it, put a couple chairs out there.
Again, let's just think about that for a second.
Yeah.
So we're gonna ride past the road, and we're just gonna cut it to the ground, and we're just gonna leave that there?
We've got a handful of them elsewhere throughout the community.
Is this the picture of the tree
Yes, this is,
looking south?
yes.
So it's all on the road, really. It's not, see how it's not, because that's
Go-
what I
Go a little further
remember
and see if
not
it'll
looking.
update with a newer image.
Yeah, you can see the prior
There
trimming.
you go.
It looks further away from the property than the aerial. indicates.
Exactly. It's not that close.
Probably 10 to 12 feet, it looks like.
Tree that size, the roots could go a
Oh,
long
it-
way.
oh, yeah,
What
I
I'm
know.
curious about is if the roots have been that aggressive going that way, how have we not had intrusion on the road?
And you don't, as you can see, there's no.
No source
repair.
of water on the road. Where's the pool?
Well,
Tree goes for a source of
Least
water.
resistance.
All right, so we will move forward with
Yeah,
the,
and I think, in addition to having the HOA sign.
You expect any problem with them, the HOA?
And I guess Chelsea, from the standpoint of,
She
do
doesn't
we,
speak on the behalf, that's a
Pardon?
question that we shouldn't be asking her.
Does there
She
need-
does not expect anything from the HOA. She doesn't even know.
I don't know, maybe she does know.
does a replacement tree have to be planted elsewhere?
I recommended that, but the board did not
I-
provide that.
Is it required by
If it's
DO?
required, go ahead and do it. I voted no, so I was willing to not have the tree removed and trim it. So don't go by what I said, because that was not in the
We'll
motion.
put another tree somewhere. We got a big community.
And then the tree should meet the DO requirements, which is, I think, 10 inches around and 10 feet, 15 feet tall.
So does the board want me to plant a tree elsewhere?
Yeah. Your discretion.
Well, I guess that's the question. Will Lee County require one or not? To be
Plant one if required.
Got it. Is that clear, everybody? Plant as required per the DO?
Do we know about how much this is going to cost?
Absolutely not. A lot.
Well, I can
won't be
tell you
cheap.
this, do you remember the cost for the one at Daniels? 5,000, 5,600. Remember the big tree that was very similar to this? At Daniels
What did it cost?
Pond, that we said no?
What did it cost?
5,600, 5,600.
5,600?
That tree there will cost $3,000 or $4,000.
And I'm not in the business, so.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure you're gonna have to have the road closure for this. This is not an easy thing. You're gonna have to have, which there's a
Let's
cost
keep-
for that too. Yeah, well, motion's already made, so.
Go out with my chainsaw tonight.
Yeah, exactly. All right, anybody else? Chelsea?
No,
Laura?
I don't believe we have any additional public
No, that
comments.
was it.
Okay,
All right, thank you.
So it's going to be removed?
We'll be in touch.
Okay, all right, thank you.
All right.
Stacy, is your contact information on this? If you could just put your phone number on there somewhere.
Okay, so,
Park and Rick?
park and appointment of the member. And I do you
I
want me to
move
go?
to
I'll give
approve
email.
agenda item 7A.
I'll second your motion. All in favor, say aye.
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 Move to approve agenda items 8A.
Second.
8A.
We have a motion, a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Consent agenda items.
Was that Carol and
So we
Bob on the
just have-
minutes, or you guys are
There's
flying through
9,
it?
C, and D.
Yeah, so
Okay.
not,
ACD, right?
Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you.
All right.
Make a motion to approve consent agenda items A, C, and D.
I'd like to see what A is. I'll go along with C
I
and
think
D.
if you, from the standpoint, if you're going to approve D, you also need to approve the loan agreement to be included as part of the packet for
D.
D
Yes.
in the resolution, because it references a form of the loan agreements exhibit C to the resolution. So if you can,
That's what Laura emailed you and printed in front of you.
If we just go 9, C and D, we're okay?
but when you do D with.
D as amended.
D is amended with the inclusion of an exhibit, the
Yep.
loan agreement.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
D is amended.
Yes.
All in favor?
oh, we didn't have a motion.
Oh, I thought we did.
No, I was waiting on a motion.
I thought I made a motion of 9, C and D
Okay,
as amended.
so we have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Now let's talk about it.
Yes.
Bring it up, 9A. Okay.
Could you give us some background on this, Stacy, or Chelsea?
Yes. So generally, this was a budgeted expenditure in this year. This comes under budget. When staff go out and have to excavate, I believe this is the excavation, is this jetting service?
Jetting trailer.
Jetting trailer.
Yeah.
Sewer backups, yeah.
Yes, so anytime we have a sewer backup, any type of backup, staff go out, we inspect it. We try to go in through the clean out. We try to jet down, get what we can. I think we do have a piece of equipment right now, but most of the time, if it's a larger issue, we have to call a contracted company out. Most of the time, it's on emergency services, on emergency pricing. This is vetted by staff. Staff have experience with this type of piece of equipment that they've used. I think either a prior prior job. But ultimately, this will help us better serve the district and sewer backups, which are often timely and could be bigger issues in the event that we have.
But this is just for the trailer.
It
That
is,
you're going to
it's the
put
whole
the sewer
thing.
jetting thing on,
it's the whole thing.
It
It's
comes on a trailer.
one unit.
one piece.
Yes.
So this is the machine and the trailer and,
Yes. Yes.
okay.
I'll make a motion, we approve it.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you.
Oh, district engineer, we don't have anything?
Nope, you have item B was pulled as well, so
But I
under,
thought B, we're gonna go talk about it under
11E.
11E.
Yes.
Yeah,
B
they
is
did.
becoming 11E.
Yeah, yeah.
11E.
You weren't in here.
So, so do you want to take one by one, 11A?
Sure.
Unless you guys want to do 11,
11.
okay, 11A.
let me explain 11A. So the Timberwood Preserve HOA owns, it's the little finger street that's right over here. I mentioned this at a prior meeting. If you may recall, we have Daniels Parkway Apartments that we went round and round over here off of Daniels. It's the horseshoe parcel. We went round and round with them regarding irrigation services at the wells, yes. By acquiring this main on this single street, we will be able to require Daniels Parkway Apartments to tie into our irrigation system. And ultimately, right now, that is a master metered community of like 40 some home, 40,
39, and then we'll have.
a couple, 43 services.
Community HOA.
Yep. So really, the difference, we'd be acquiring an asset in order to require an entire community to tie into our irrigation system. Additionally, we would so instead of them getting the HOA gets the bill, we would individually meter the irrigation services. The potable is already individually metered in that community. So ultimately, their HOA has approved this. I did receive the documents back today. They are interested in turning this over to the district, and then we would work to convert those. There's already service lines, so really,
It's already an irrigation line from the main to the house.
Yes.
We're just going to intercept it with a meter.
yes, we would just cut in a meter.
If you look at in the agenda packet, the exhibit that's in there,
The picture
yeah, the one that Austin did in purple.
Oh.
I think you see the
Is that-
exhibit.
Yeah, it's in there.
further down.
Yeah, keep going. Austin did a really good job on,
Dollar value for
there we go.
None.
The text is mine, the graphics are
no dollar
Austin's.
value whatsoever.
He did a great job, by the way, I appreciate
So
Austin.
So we're going to go down and we're going to make the point of connection for Daniels Preserve, Daniels, what do they call it?
Parkway Apartments.
Parkway Apartments. Their point of connection is which,
There's a, Bill, come explain
right there
ARV
at that point
blow
or
off.
at the other line?
There's a 6-inch valve there that's tied to a 2-inch blow off.
My point is where on the
Right at
map?
the back
Right where
of
that
the
blue is.
cul-de-sac.
Where
Okay,
that blue
right
dot-
there, okay. So they're going to come up that easement,
They can
tie
tie right
into
into
that.
that valve.
And it's a 6-inch?
6-inch valve.
And has somebody done a flow study to verify that
Yes.
this line
Tetra Tech did that.
Tetra Tech did
with,
that.
within
We'll support
use will be able to serve them?
Yes.
With all those extra meters, okay.
Yeah.
Which is
So-
really-
What happens if we don't do anything?
So they would stay a master metered community, and we would continue to bill them as is. You're just, and you're billing the HOA or the homeowner. Either way, it's kind of like in Pelican, it's one out of way or
For
the
us,
other.
it's best. This is
Yes.
the best option.
For us, this is
Why?
best because then we can require Daniels
no, I cut-
Parkway to tie in to our system.
It's also the property to the right where that box is. What property is that, Bill?
There's a conservation area, and then there's Daniels Parkway's apartments.
And we own the conservation area tract?
Yes,
Okay.
which is what you sent me today.
Yeah, it's a conservation easement,
My
but
only concern was is if there wasn't enough pressure to be able to get the flow. If there's enough pressure and they've done the study.
Yes, we
great.
did the hydraulic modeling, and staff is recommending acceptance at no cost well, let me back up. There is a cost to the district, and that's for buying the meters and putting them in, but the HOA has not required any cost for us to buy this line
So
from
there's
them.
no meter connection fee that we're going to charge to those 43 taps. So that's what they're getting in exchange for this, is they're getting a 5/8 inch, so many 5/8 inch meters, and I'm assuming the common areas are 5/8 inch also?
There's possibly 2 5/8 and 1 1.5
Inch and a half up front?
Yeah.
Okay. For
I'll make a motion, we accept 11A as written.
A second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Yeah. All right, Lauren?
Are they aware that this was going to be up so that the whole well issue is
So
dead?
I've mentioned this. I did not say it was official because I was waiting for this meeting to see how the board would vote, but we will be providing our resubmittal 8 comments back to Daniels Parkway Apartments, and they are hoping to come in front of you guys at your next meeting for approval. But ultimately, anything behind the meter, yeah. So.
Okay, so I was asked at the last meeting by Carol to bring back what's left of the original bond validation that we did. So of the engineers' report, there was a total of $55 million that was validated. We've issued $13,565,000 so far in bonds. That was the 2023 issue, and which leaves us the 31,800.
31 million.
Or 31 million.
Could you
31
go to your
million.
chart, please?
Yep.
Yeah.
So we've spent 13.4 million and we got 31.8 left.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, knowing that there's a lot of waterway stuff that still needs to be done, I wouldn't want to touch any of that. But if I'm looking under roadways and landscaping, that 8,448,000, is that programmed for anything right now?
No, the first column is what we estimated all of the projects that we were going to do where the 55 million was made up of.
Okay.
The blue column in the middle is what we actually took the bonds out for in 2023. And so the remaining column is what's left.
We have those essentially those in blue, the project names are what that 8.4 million would be for. So if we had a shared use path on tree line and we wanted to take out another bond series, we would eat up some of the sidewalk maintenance and replacement. So the 540,000 we would have available to use.
And is what makes up the 13 million? Is it completed?
All of those.
Everything under
that column.
So you're saying that
under this
FPL
column.
project was 8 million too, and we're done and we spent only $1 million, we got 7,200,000 left?
Yes, and
Why is that?
Because when we originally did the bond series, we thought we were going to replace and keep it private, and Tetra Tech had done an estimate on private utility.
Okay,
and
so
we converted
so it's
that.
amortized now into the rate.
Yeah.
So we avoided paying the capital.
Yes.
So that money is free.
Within the roadway and landscape category,
Correct.
is my understanding from bond counsel, but we would have to confirm.
So in other words, we can't reallocate it to another.
To a different silo, no, you cannot reallocate.
Without going back to them.
No, you could use it for the master irrigation, it can stay within that silo.
So any of these projects under the road and
there's
landscape
master
area
irrigation.
can be used, those funds can be used for road and landscape. Same with waterway, it can be used for anything under waterway, admin.
Okay, so it's
is
in that
admin.
master name.
Yes.
So if I go up at waterway management, then we had budgeted or we have available that, going back to what we talked about earlier, the bathymetrics and the ponds aeration, we have almost $1 million sitting there.
Well, there's something we can issue a bond series, I think.
We would have to issue an additional bond series, yes.
Correct.
So
Because the left column is other projects. I mean, the 2023 is the second column. The amount from the master engineer's report is anything
yes.
and everything.
So the very first column was all of the projects that we listed when we went to talk about getting the bonds validated. This is like anything and everything that we thought that we would finance with a bond.
Right.
The second column is the stuff that the projects we actually listed out and took out bonds to complete. And so then the third column is the difference between
Whatever
those
difference.
two.
Okay, well, what I
But doesn't
understand,
Gateway have a lot of ponds that you still have to do?
yeah, they're in there too. You got Lake Bank Restoration.
We have the Lake
13
Bank
million.
Restoration
Hadn't
down here.
been
There's
done.
a line for 13 million.
Right.
So, yeah.
Well, if we had surface aerators, we had 832 budgeted in the original master engineer's report, and we spent 260. What did we spend 260 on?
You spent 2.6, well,
Surface aerators.
we spent some money on the bathymetrics and the sediment core sampling. We did put some aerators in back in 2022. And if you recall,
Where were those at?
I'd have to get the list and send and give it to you.
I mean, it wasn't Stony Brook or Hampton Park?
No, not to my knowledge. I think there was a couple of Daniels, yeah.
That's what I was guessing.
If
But my point is that if that money that is dedicated, that was 20,150,000, and we've only spent 3,197, we have 16,953 allocated within those 6 or 7 items under the title Waterway Management, correct?
Tony has some.
That doesn't mean they've been spent. Those are the
Available.
bond series budget.
That's what I mean.
No, it's not been spent yet. I mean, the bonds were issued for the total amount at the bottom of that second column, which tallies up all those categories, but that doesn't mean all of that has been spent.
So at 13 million, not all of it's been spent?
most of it had.
Okay.
No, the 13 million.
No.
If we run across a pond that needs to be dredged now, and let's say that's 2 or 3 million, is that capable of being taken out of this 13 million?
If it was in the original engineer's report as one of the areas for ordinary.
I don't think that was the question.
We
I
would
think she
have-
was asking, is it in one of those categories? I don't think it is.
No, it's not in one of those categories, but let's say,
We're falling to ponds, right?
let's say you do your bathymetrics and all that sort of stuff, and you run across a pond that's got to be dredged now. And let's just say it's 3 million. I'm pulling the number out of the air. I have no clue. Can that 3 million be paid out of that?
We'd have to look at the engineer's report and see what waterways and which bodies of water were contemplated to be revised. And then how much has been allocated in the 23 bond issue that's already been issued? How much is left if you want to do another bond? And then whether or not you can issue a bond to do that. You might
Potentially.
Yeah, you might potentially have the ability to issue another bond depending upon.
Somewhere in there was a yes.
But since there's a doubt that there's dredging anywhere in, because I remember when we did this, that was never discussed. It was never discussed when we did that. In order to get that 3 million that Carol's talking about, we could go back to the bond holders and get permission.
I don't think you need to. I think you can just modify the engineer's report to a supplement to something we can ask bond counsel, because it's within the realm of water management, and it doesn't change the allocation, doesn't change the
That answered the
percentages, and all that. So a
Well,
lot,
there was a yes in there.
yeah, thank you.
But we would have to do another bond issue. It's not covered under the bonds that were already issued. We would have to issue an additional series of bonds.
But it's
Could be-
within the scope of the total 45 million.
We would have to
verify.
We'd have to verify.
But but typically that's what will happen. A supplemental engineer's report within the bond issue in that category. Yeah, it might be possible.
Okay, and then under the roadway and landscaping, what can come out of there?
For
So,
bond.
I mean, you've got the master irrigation renovation, and that's a program that's coming up soon, relatively soon.
And we have a shortfall on that project.
Okay,
So-
so you could use some of the street pole wiring and fixture replacement to offset that
Yes, with
additional amount.
the engineer, an updated engineer's report and a new bond series.
And bond counsel saying that that's okay, which typically
Yes.
is happening, because within the category of roadway and landscaping, again, the percentages and allocations remain the same under the
Yes,
methodology.
correct.
That's the key. You're not changing the methodology.
All of this ties back to the old
And
methodology.
what about a security fence? Is that with,
That would fall under
Would that-
Parks and Rec.
Park and Rec.
that wouldn't fall under roadway and landscaping?
Probably not.
It looks pretty.
What security fence are we talking about? For the
It's around, security around the Commons
The
Park, or the new
Commons.
Commons Park.
No, I think that's different than an exterior boundary fence like the one on Sea
So
Line.
a couple examples, Carol.
Okay.
That'd be different.
So we could, unless we chose to self-fund or take out a short-term loan, when it comes time to do the construction of the shared use path on tree line and or this Griffin sidewalk, we would need construction dollars. So because the street pole wiring and fixture replacement is, that project's complete, to Tony's point, we'd go to bond council, we'd say, hey, we've got this credit line still out here of X amount of dollars, we'd like to reallocate this towards these projects. Same category, same silo, because it all goes back to the assessment methodology. Same thing with the commons. If you decided that we wanted the zoysia that we've talked about, and it's $500,000, we don't have $500,000, we would add that as a project in the next bond series and borrow the $500,000 of the remaining Gateway Commons construction, $5.5 million. A security fence, the band shell, if the soccer complex, if you chose that we wanted to borrow from that, we could go here to this Parks and Rec and do another bond series. The same thing with the master irrigation renovation system. We have a shortfall on that project. So we could move some money around within those silos and take out another
So you're
bond.
just going back basically and amending the master engineer's report to accomplish a new revised schedule of
I think it's
costs.
supplementary, like a
It's a
supplementary report.
supplement. We wrote the master broad and the supplement is detailed. So yes, the point is you have an available funding source for some of these projects that we've been talking about, if you so chose to use it. And that would be a 20-year amortization because that was established in the original MTI, the master.
Now, that Gateway Commons construction though, that's $6 million and 50,000, 550, that'll all be spent if this were in 2026, correct? That's how we're paying for the building.
We're paying for,
No, the building is under administration.
the building is
up at
under
the
a
very
different
top.
category up at the top. Yes, to Carol's point.
So the Gateway Common construction, what on earth?
Park.
That just was park cost?
Yeah.
Holy crap. Okay.
Well, we only borrowed 550,000.
Correct.
And we're funding that with carry forward from unrealized projects and interest earnings to pay for the phase one improvements. So we've only borrowed 550 on
So
that
there's still
commons.
$5.5 million left from that original report for the commons.
That you could use.
For additional things.
Or could you use it at Fun Park too, or?
As long as it's Parks and Rec, we
We would go back and look at the MTI and
See.
see what it says.
Correct.
I don't-
But
I
again,
mean,
that would be another bond
Would we
issue.
want to do that? We would want to spend any, like, I'm just want to, like, you're, here, sorry, it's blocking me. Carol, would we want to do that? 'Cause I mean, I was there, maybe like 3 weeks ago. I mean, I love how the exclusive is like the hedge. It's like a nice hedge landscaping, but I don't know what will we do there, like for improvement at the fun park.
Oh, no, I'm not saying, I don't have anything in
Yeah, okay.
mind.
Yeah.
I'm just saying,
Is it tied up to just this?
could
Okay,
you,
okay.
could it happen?
If you had, so if you had projects that you were thinking about, we could go back and look at the MTI and see if we wrote it broad enough to cover it.
Okay, what about soccer fields? Do those come under Parks and Rec?
It would fall under Parks and Recreation Fields and Amenities, and there's $600,000 remaining in that line item.
And when we last talked, I think you said it would be about 2.5 million if you did all the land
Yes.
restructuring with the proper drainage and.
Lights and everything.
Lights and everything and,
Yes, ma'am.
and made it a quality product.
Yes, ma'am.
Could that money be taken out of this silo? This
Yes.
Parks and Rec silo?
Yes.
If we knew what the source of the revenue is to get 75% of it back.
Yeah, that's what I.
That's the catch.
Yeah,
That's the catch.
I'm just
But
asking.
you're just asking the
I'm
same way the
asking
fun
one
park. Can you
question
do
at a
it?
time,
Yeah, I got it.
So
Okay.
the parking lot that we've talked about, that could fall under the road portion. The road repair and replacement. It could fall under,
Oh, way back in the back?
Yeah, the
That
expansion.
500,000? Okay,
if you, so another example, we've been doing point repairs. A lot of,
The one that we have 468,000?
Yeah.
Road repair
Yep.
and place.
That could be, if we had any new roads that we needed repaved, that we owned. We have what was I just saying before?
Use this money to the parking lot. That's what we were talking.
Yes, hold on, I just lost it.
Doesn't qualify for a dog park, though.
That could fall under Gateway Commons construction.
Why in the lead in under 11B does it say 55 million validated? And-
On the master trust indenture, there was $55 million that was validated.
Okay, how did that compare with the 45,300,000?
That was the total of the projects.
So we validated for more than what we
Okay,
did.
so we talked about that.
Because I
yeah.
think we
We
said,
went
let's just
higher.
put everything that
It
we
was
want,
yeah.
that, just
Slush
at least
fund.
we have to do it.
So we didn't
Yeah,
have to do it
twice, to save cost.
You had a lot of bond counsel and closing costs for the MTI that were incorporated in that first thing, so.
$5 million is a lot of bond counsel.
Just in general. Just kidding.
I think we padded because every time that you do issue bonds, there's some pretty significant costs
Cost
to
and
it, and that
yeah.
way it's all.
I remember that
covered.
conversation.
So if you had a list of projects that you wanted to take out another bond series on, what it would look like is you would tell us what projects those were. We'd work with Tetra Tech on drafting a supplemental engineer's report. They'd go back and look at the master and say, okay, yes, all of these projects fall within these categories, and yes, and working with bond counsel and Tony and saying, you've got this much money remaining. We would, Tony, chime in at any point. It would come in front, that supplemental engineer's report would come in front of you for your review. You would look at that. We would set a public hearing for,
Again, if we want to issue another series of bonds, we just have an amended or supplemental engineer's report, and we modify the master trust indenture, do another supplemental trust
and
indenture.
no public hearing.
I'm sorry?
And no public hearing?
No.
See, that's what
we've
we do
already
with
had all public
utilities.
hearings.
Because they already
Yes,
validated it.
True. So then
We
you
would
would,
just have a revised.
Yeah, because the original,
amended,
the original
engineer's
assessment
report,
methodology.
And it does not have to go to a public
No,
hearing?
the original assessment methodology put a debt service cap
Right.
based upon that $55 million that was validated. As long as we don't exceed that debt service cap per ERU, or however the categories are broken down, then we don't need to go back and revalidate or reassess.
perfect example, Laura just reminded me. You just approved 9D, which was a supplemental engineer's report for utilities.
For the water and sewer.
For the water and sewers, which is totally different. You didn't have to have a public hearing for that because that original master went through and did the whole rigmarole.
Back in '89, it was validated
Yes.
way back
Yep.
then.
So this would work the same way.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for doing this.
You're
'cause
welcome.
I think I understand it better now.
Well, and I want to just chime in real quick. So you do have projects on here that we have completed, and that FPL one is a perfect example that you have $7 million, a little over $7 million within that silo if you had other projects that were covered in the MTI. Same thing goes with under waterway management, we had interpond transfer structure modifications. That project's complete. There's 296,000 that's remaining as part of that MTI. So if you had, to your point, a dredging project or on a smaller pond, that we could move the money around within the silo with a new bond series and address some of these things. If we needed to self-fund another pond restoration, we have the available funding source to do it. We would have to go through a process to do so.
Was the 2023 bond exactly 13,439
Yes.
million? That was it?
Yes.
Okay.
The
And again,
amount
to the point, we don't need to have public hearings, but everything has to happen in a public meeting, for any other bond issue.
Yeah, the middle column, the budget, that was the exact amount of the bonds that were
So in-
taken out for those
So in
projects.
essence, the amended engineer's report would be dealing with the column that's got 31,861
Yes.
is essentially what it's doing, reallocating that money.
Yes.
Okay.
And keep in mind, because of how this was validated, it was under the prior methodology. Okay?
Which means
You have to apply, you have to use that, yeah,
Yeah.
That
Pelican
that
pays
format to-
14%.
whatever the
rather than
format to pay
17?
for it.
Is that what?
to allocate the debt. Yeah.
And the more money you use, then that becomes, no. Because you're paying the same amount for the bonds
Just goes
every
back-
year.
Well, what,
Just goes back to the old allocation before we did
yes,
If
the
you do a
change.
new, if you do new bond issue, you have
you would
new
have debt.
So then there'd be a new dollar amount allocated per unit based upon the methodology. Well, again, as long as
The
you don't
most-
exceed the
the most
cap in
recent
the original
methodology.
methodology.
Could you have this available for us when we start talking about budgets?
Sure.
What we need is probably a recap from you all of all the projects in each of the categories that could be done and thought of, so that we can maybe prioritize them.
So glad, because that's next.
That'd be easy.
Well, part of it is Parks and Recreation is next.
Okay. Thank you for doing this.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Okay, so this is pretty much, it's a regurgitation of what we looked at the last time, with some minor modifications to it. I tried to make it as simple as I could. We assumed with the rates the way they are for financing with a 20-year loan, that it would be between 5 and 6%. I've seen stuff a little under 5. I've seen it at like 5.7. So we went with 5 and 6. You know, most likely we'll be able to get a better rate. But you had asked me to come back and look at it at a 50% recap and a 75% recap of costs. When I did this, I did make assumptions that, like, I know that this probably won't happen this way, but that if all the costs were incurred and paid for in 1 year, this is what the total would be. So the fields are 1.5, and then the parking lot is a $500,000. They did the annual P&I doing $2 million at 20 years. So this would be at 6%, it's basically $172,000 a year. And at 5%, it's $158,000 a year. The O&M doesn't change because the O&M comes right out of the budget, so it doesn't matter. The percentage doesn't apply. What I did down here with the one then, because Mr. Tinkle had mentioned that he wanted the P&I to be covered completely through the field rate, so I assumed that this whole amount would be covered. At a 50% recap of the O&M and capital costs, the amount that the residents would be responsible for is about $232,000. And at 75%, it would be about 116,000 of this 463.
So we're still looking for income, revenue.
Where's Denzel?
Do what?
Where's Denzel? Like, the
Yeah.
kid, you know? Where's he
He's a
at?
good fundraiser.
Where's he at?
So I mentioned this at the last board meeting, and you will be seeing a sponsorship package opportunity that Randy and Laura and I have been working on to bring in front of you to hopefully address these issues, right? Providing different opportunities for naming rights of individual fields, of the complex. You know, obviously we always keep Sherman Soccer Complex, so it could be, you know, Joe's Plumbing at Sherman Soccer Complex. But we are basing our sponsorship opportunities off of this type of, at least for the Sherman Soccer Complex, and then we're using the Commons construction cost with OAK's contract to estimate those sponsorship opportunities and bring back to you a whole package that we would like to start to hit the ground running and seek sponsors on these different amenities to help offset these costs. And albeit each vendor could be different. It could be a 1-year contract. It could be a 5-year contract. It could be a 20-year contract. So that is one way we are looking to help offset some of these costs. But
When you're doing that last paragraph, Laura, take me through the math. You say at a 50% recovery would be 231, which is
Yep, so
50%
it's
of
this-
463. We're at 463.
Right here. It's the O&M and capital. I said I assumed that the full cost of the P&I would be covered. So the cost to the residents
Okay.
would be 231,857 at 50%. And then obviously 75% recovery, which 25% of that cost would be their responsibility. So that's here. I did the math. That's why I kind of laid it out. So this O&M is O&M. That doesn't change.
so with regards to the soccer complex, because I believe it was 2 meetings ago that you all decided that if we do it, we want to do the whole thing at one time, right? We have started having preliminary discussions with our existing vendor. They've given us an estimate. It's actually, it's 2 million is what it comes out to be, and that's doing the irrigation, the whole shebang. And what the timeline of that would look like. And so some of the conversations, you know, you tell us when, because, and there's options. So, right, if we look at this and you say you're willing to forego one spring season of revenue, we could do a spray of seeds instead of rolling sod out. If you say, no, we don't want to forego a season of revenue and say, hey, we just want to do really like a long extended summer shutdown, then that'll drive that decision. But
Well, that'll be easy because it'll be, is there a $50,000 difference?
and we're working on
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
But what I'm trying to gauge right now with you all is that, does that look like that's next year, or is that 2+ years from now? Because we're making decisions on summer shutdown now and investing. But if we're gonna do this next calendar year, I'm not gonna throw good money away if we're just gonna kill it in 6 months.
So to me, there's a couple factors in that. 2 factors. One, does our existing revenue stream meet our expectation? And I don't mean existing, I mean at the time where, you know, let's say the improvements are done or whatever, would our existing revenue meet our criteria? Okay. If that's the case, then we could do that in a year, whatever. If we don't believe our existing revenue at the time of the improvement when we need to have that, whether it's 50%, 75%, whatever that is, that's not the case, then we need to look at setting up a bid process. And that bid process would be kind of contingent on those improvements being done. So that might, let's say we could bid, but it could be for a full calendar year ahead at the time. So they'd be, we'd bid out and say this field will be available in 2028 or 2027. You know what I mean? Like it may not be a year out. It might have to be longer than that. Because if we bid, if we don't hit our criteria, then we pull the bid and we have to rebid again. You know what I mean? Like there's no guarantee unless we're walking into some organizations that already give us kind of a good faith. Hey, we believe we can meet those estimates.
Well, and see, that's what I'm with these sponsorships. That's what I'm trying to take the unknowns out of this scenario. Because if we can get sponsorships and a contractual sponsorship with Joe's Plumbing, then we know we have.
What percentage of the sponsorships are you looking to try to acquire? Or right now it's whatever?
Well, you have the difference between capital and like the P&I. Laura's numbers here.
I have a question for you.
Go ahead.
What are the leagues they're using the Red Sox right now?
That's Florida West. I don't believe they pay for those fields. Or if it is, it's minimal. That's the organization that came to us a couple of years ago.
That gentleman, and he was going
Yeah.
through the whole.
I
runs-
think
he
he
runs
was willing
here.
to pay up like over 75 or 100,000.
That's
A little bit, yeah, he rents a little
Nothing.
bit.
truthfully.
That's what it was a couple of years ago under current conditions.
I mean, I wonder if we can.
He runs here. He runs here.
Oh, he's not there anymore, or he does both?
No, he,
Yes. So
It's a little.
yeah, he offsets, like, because when the Red Sox closed down, that organization goes to Bayshore and they go to Big Corkscrew. So that organization uses Naples Fields, they use North Collier, they use Big Corkscrew, which is off of Immokalee down east,
And I
and they use Bayshore, and they use, so they're still county parks.
so I was wondering, has staff looked into those locations, reaching out, like literally going to visiting when they're doing games and seeing who are the teams that are out there, and if there's like you know, hey, we're thinking about doing this, would you be willing to come to Gateway?
I haven't focused our efforts on that right now. My focus has been on the sponsorship opportunities.
I mean, I can give you the list of,
I mean, that's a, you know.
it's not hard to get a list of
And that's
of
one ladder, and
every
it just goes to
team,
everyone.
whether it's soccer, football, I mean, any sport that
Any
has,
sport
that has
that's
a
gonna use
league.
fields.
The
Yeah.
issue we're going to run into is, not issue, but a challenge is the county does provide their fields. And now the problem is there's not a whole lot of fields. Like in North Collier, at any given night, you could have 5 different clubs or organizations operating on their eight fields. Because you're just
That's
leasing
not,
them
that's not
out.
counting vineyards either.
Yeah, right.
For the smaller kids.
So there, in this location, I'm not aware, the only location that I'm aware of that it kind of is proprietary, well, Florida West is proprietary to JetBlue. Lee County Strikers is proprietary to Kelly Road. That's how we work it here. In Naples, I don't think there's a club that is proprietary or it has.
FC Naples for
It's all over the
Paradise.
place. But again, you're not also talking about 2 or 3 fields. You're talking about 8 fields, and Paradise Coast has, I don't know, 8, 12.
That's something that's staffed.
I mean, yeah. But again, all of those leagues are going to want these fields at the same time that our existing people want them. So
You're gonna
trying
have to publicize it because there might even be a new club that hasn't been able to
But-
launch because they haven't been able to find fields, and that happens all the time.
I don't want to publicize if we're going to be shutting down next year for a duration of time. Like I'd rather, like if that's the decision and we know we're going to have new fields and we're going to proceed to replace, then, and that decision's been made here and I'm actioning it, then I'm going to go and say, we got new fields coming. Come, we want you here.
Like I said, that you may have to bid, sign a contract with a 12-month lead in before they'd be available. And that's not a big deal in some instances because
They'll build the league, they'll have time to.
or even if
Oh,
whether
yeah.
if it's new startup or if it's an existing, because most teams have to schedule at least 6 to 12 months in advance. Whether it's Lee County or Collier County, they're scheduling all that out. Now, there is some a la carte scheduling like we do that you can pick up, but most of those fields have been scheduled out 6 to 12 months. So it would take that long for us, 1, to get the fields ready, 2, to probably give our existing, just hypothetically, our existing leagues an exit strategy or work it in. So
If you're just looking personally, I would like to do the whole thing at once. I'd like to do the whole 2.5 million. I would like to do it in the 2027 budget year.
So we're looking at 2028 would be the first, in theory, would be the first availability of use.
Yes.
Well, I
I
don't
mean-
know how long does it take?
Oh, I don't know. I mean,
Is that, I mean, I
construction would
wouldn't
probably
think
take at
it's
least 6 months.
Well, that goes back to, it depends on the way we implement. And I'm waiting on the
Cedar
numbers
side,
back.
Right.
And, you say 2027 budget year, that's next year.
It's
Okay.
like October,
So
like
we'll
7
approve
months.
Next year, but we will start into 2028.
No,
I'd
then you're
like
talking about
construction to
2029.
be
Oh, okay.
in the
No. It would
2027
be
So
budget.
approve,
summer
approve
next year.
and start, again, hypothetically, you would approve and start in 2027 with a 2028
No, we could,
availability.
if you fund it next fiscal year, we would do it this time next year.
Yeah, 2027.
Construction in 2027.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Opening in August, September of 2027.
2027 or 2028, just depends on,
Well,
time
if-
frame or scheduling or construction or.
Where's the capital for lighting those fields?
We wouldn't touch the lighting.
No.
Doesn't touch lighting at
This
all.
does not touch lighting.
That's going to be a problem.
How much is lighting?
Our lighting is terrible. Again,
It's another half to $1 million.
I have not approached Musco with about lighting. I wouldn't, you start to get into lighting and you start to get in, if we redo the sod here, this is a maintenance and that's it. I don't have to get engineering, design and permitting. It is a maintenance function. If you get into lighting, then that's power, that's design, that's permitting, that's,
And I think that's, okay, I think we should at least look at it and have someone evaluate the lighting, because I'm telling you, even though it's better than it used to be, it is not good. It is not good.
Does that have any programs for parking and stuff like that?
And the reason why I say lighting could be important, that's the difference between us shutting down at 9:30 with the youth leagues, or shutting down at 12, maybe even 1 o'clock with adult leagues running.
noise ordinance would not allow that.
I'm like, who's gonna be playing like at 1 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah, I think we need to add
They
that
play
in,
till
because
11, 12
I
o'clock.
thought that was an issue all along, that if you want to have a professional deal, you
own a-
gotta
I
have
back
a
by
lighting.
8:30.
So
Ice rinks go
if you
24
touch
hours a day.
lighting, we're 2 years away. If you want to redo those fields, and I heard it from the vendor's mouth, we could do it next year.
The issue is, will it sell, and will we
That's the
get a return of 75% or to the tune of about $500,000 without lighting? That's the question.
And that's why I want to push the sponsoring. That's why I want to push
Push the what?
sponsorship.
So what kind of, in your best guess, how much money could that bring in annually?
A good amount.
It's a good amount. 100,000? I mean,
Well,
500,000 is a good amount. That's what we need.
well, it depends, it depends on who comes to the table, because we're going to bring this to you guys next year. But naming rights of the complex is obviously a lot larger number than individual field sponsorships.
Who are you targeting? I guess that's my question.
I have been in conversations with a couple local
He wants to
companies.
deliver this to us next meeting.
Yeah. Yeah, you can just set it there. Thank you. So I have been I've been in conversations with some local companies that they approached us and said they are interested. I haven't gotten into the details because I wanted to be able to present something to them, but I needed your buy-in first. So it could be a 5-year term, it could be a 1-year term, it could be, really, all of that's part of negotiating. But my goal, Ed, is to capture, do you want me to capture capital only? You want me to capture capital plus the 50% O&M? Because that's what I'm shooting for. I'm shooting for the stars, truthfully. I want capital and at least 50% O&M.
I think,
I would like to see the taxpayers not pay anything towards that asset, towards that amendment. That it'd be all expenses, maintenance, everything is paid for by that asset.
Yeah, that's a goal.
And
think
if it,
yeah, that's,
But
I think
that's a
I think it
goal.
might
I
be.
support that 100%. Will never happen. but
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
goal.
I mean,
think it's
I
a
would love
dream.
to, I think honestly, if I'm just, I think 250, probably the amount that we'll
That's
get.
max, I think, right?
No, I'm not talking about sponsorships. I'm talking about for lease and usage, at least, or, maybe coming out of the gate. I could be wrong, but that, to me, so that 500 would need to be split, 250 from direct revenue, from use, and then another 250 is going to have to come from either sponsorships or district generated programs and leagues or
Well,
whatever.
and keep in mind, like, when I talk sponsorships, I'm not talking just the fields. I'm talking the concession stands. I'm talking the pavilions. I'm talking every asset that is over there to get a sponsorship on. So that's what I'm aiming towards. I'm not going to wage our bets on rentals of these facilities. If we can generate rental of the facilities, that's just an added bonus and reduce our burden to our taxpayer dollars. So based on the last 2 meetings ago, you guys said between 50 and 75. So that's what I've been aiming towards, and getting the capital covered into it as well. So if we can get naming of these fields and do a certain, if we can cover our costs, yeah, goal 100% would be our goal. Absolutely. But the board said between 50 and 75.
Madam Chair, if I may, just Chelsea, I would suggest then, a number of organizations, local governments have donation, sponsorship, naming rights, policies and procedures.
Yeah.
So I think if you can take that and compile that. something
Yeah,
you
no,
think
that's,
works. Because that way, because what happens is you'll end up with people saying, yes, I'll contribute $500, but I want you to maintain this a particular way for a certain amount of time
yeah,
also.
all of, so Tony, so,
Cheers and Associates. Sounds very good.
Yeah, Woodward Pierce,
so what,
$1 million a year.
People,
$1 million a year.
for the
Tony,
soccer people.
I got a Pelican Preserve Soccer Park.
Oh, that's great.
Ooh,
Yes.
Yeah.
Good-
Sounds
Sponsored by
nice.
Pelican Preserve.
That's a motion, there's a second.
I guarantee
You got all this
you,
extra money.
guarantee you
Then
$10.
you've got a dog, then you got a dog in that fight. You got a dog in that fight.
Those people got deep pockets.
We overlooked that all this time.
What were we thinking?
so again,
Lee Green's preserve.
without,
He's nothing to Pelican Preserve.
without knowing where this board stands with regards to forward progress of the soccer complex or not, again, trying to figure out from an operational day-to-day, I'm trying to figure out if Carol, if that is the board's stance next year is to do all of this, then I'm not gonna have staff throw big money at repairs this summer on these fields because we're gonna kill it 3 months later. In the same sense, I'm not going to go out and try to, drum up business to come back when we're going to shut down for a time period, whatever that is, once I get the numbers. So JSM does have the county's contract for these field maintenance. So that's something I'm waiting on the updated number. Basically I know what the number is for rolls and a shortened time span of shutdown. I don't know what the price is for the spray out of the seed. I've been told it's far less, but I'm
Did you
waiting
have
on
that at
those
the golf
numbers.
course? Didn't you guys spray stuff there?
Yes.
Yeah, we did.
So
It was like 7 months, I think.
9 months.
Yeah, that's what I recall.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. We would forego the spring revenue in next year. So January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, and we'd open up sometime September. We'd have 9 months of the fields being closed.
So
April to December.
Yeah.
9 months.
I think we're going to end up with.
but that's
we're gonna-
also wet season, and that's the best time to grow grass.
I think we're going to have three options. One, we just do nothing and maintain it like we have been. With the idea we still have to increase revenue because we're still not even where we need to be. Or so we do nothing, we do something, and then we do all. Like, this is do all.
I would like to include in that do all at part, the electric, the lights.
The lights.
Because you're not going to tear up new grass
I
and
just-
fields
I
to
just know
put
'cause
down
I'm out
new
there.
conduit and stuff like that.
If I felt like the lights would even be okay, I'd be like, okay, we could just keep them, but those lights are bad.
Okay.
So
Then I would include the lights.
So we can have Musco, who is the name in the game vendor, come out and inspect those lights and make recommendations and give us a proposal.
yeah, just get his assessment on like, okay, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're better than what I think compared to what a baseline average be. I'd like to get a
Yeah,
professional's assessment
100%.
to say like, you know what, these really need to be addressed, or really not that bad. All you got to do is maybe they just need to be tweaked or updated. But my concern is,
Get a professional report.
yeah, my concern is, I think if we're looking to generate 500K worth of annual revenue, and today we're at 50 to 60,
We're not, we're,
what are we, 100 and,
yeah, we're at like
We're
150.
150.
I'm sorry, 150? It's still a
long way to go.
significant jump. So we're going to have to take a little bit of a leap of faith or completely change how we're operating and managing the fields today.
So my
it'd be
goal
great.
with the sponsorship, we'll bring it to you guys at the next meeting. I want to be able to go out to these companies that I've been talking to and say, hey, this is what we're looking at, and negotiate something. To Tony's point, bring whatever is negotiated back to you all and say, okay, here's sponsorship opportunities. And in this packet that we've been working on is we've set Tony, those expectations of, okay, if you're a naming rights, you get XYZ PDQ. If you're, a gold one, you're ABC. If you're a silver, you're AB, et cetera. So, if I can get, Carrie just messaged, said lights for field 2 is $200,000. That includes auto shut off for fields 1
Lights for, say that again?
is 200,000, but we will get a price.
To replace all the lights?
Field 2.
Field 2. Lights for Field 2 is 200,000.
Why are we just looking at field 2, or is there an issue?
There was an issue.
Okay.
Anywho, we'll have Musco come out and give us a comprehensive assessment and quote, but we know fees are going to go up. If we've set the fees, proposed fees based on the revenue that you guys said, 50, 75%. You'll have to make a decision on that. In tandem, we're going to have to continue to try to come up with alternative creative ideas.
And also, you need to look at our fields versus, let's say if we were building a, up to snuff field, you need to look at what we have versus other facilities, because I don't know of one soccer complex that doesn't have a net behind the goals.
Oh.
And the way we're using them today from a recreational perspective is I think the 2 fields in the back, they use, let's call it full-sided. All the other ones run this way because they're for smaller age groups, smaller size. But again, if you're building this
we're not building it for soccer, we're building it for multi-use.
But what I'm saying is, if I'm a club, I'm going to want to be able to use all of them either full, and what I'm saying is, I don't know of one complex where there's not netting to stop the ball from going in the road or stopping it from going, because our fencing is only, 6 feet maybe, not even?
Yeah, except for field
Only
5.
this side, the other side is even shorter.
So that's another expense. It's something we didn't consider. And what else are we not considering that?
We could have a concession that sells balls.
He does. He will. He will this Saturday, hopefully, as long as he can get his DOH inspection.
I think it's a great idea.
Bathrooms,
We have bathrooms.
okay.
Front and back, yeah.
Yep.
They're actually in pretty good condition. So anyway.
The concession stands open now?
He will be. He's got to get his health department inspection. He just got his DOH permit yesterday.
Awesome.
Where are we on our agenda?
We're under Parks and Rec.
Parks and Rec
So,
discussion.
so back to this. So Laura ran the numbers. Here are some of the items that we're talking about. And we just went over the master trust indenture and all of the additional potentially available funding sources. But these were items that I know to be out there. And these are big ticket items.
I thought we said we were going to pause on the moving the dog park to the commons.
Yes.
Nothing back.
Well, but it's out there if you so chose to do so.
Where are the 200,000 replacement lights at Sherman?
I think
that's not even close.
that's an outdated number. I got to get Musco out.
It's just for one field.
Yeah.
Field 2.
I got to get Musco out. So
There's another, $2 million there? Yep.
mill. It's a mill. We only have 4.5 fields.
What?
We only have 4.5 fields.
No, I'm saying right here, there's another
Total.
$2 million, not counting another million for replacement lights. So you could be at $3 million, so the total of all of this.
Yep. And you had 6 million left at the Gateway Commons remaining. And you had some money in the Parks and Recreation and amenities under the bond.
Refresh my memory, the landscaping on Griffin Drive, what is that, the 460?
That's we have the irrigation. You guys said when we were doing this irrigation design that it would be smart to do landscaping design at the same time. And so that's the EOPC number to put landscaping to do all of the sod to make it match the rest of the community.
That's my question. 460 is the sod.
It's sod and some improvements, which he's coming to you at the next meeting for a presentation. You guys you saw it before, once before.
No, I'm okay with sod.
That's the landscaping on Griffin, is that what we're talking about?
I'm okay with sod. I don't think
It was
this,
just
It's going to be a
small.
hot, this one's going to be a hot topic. Because the rest of Gateway paid for it when we bought. This group here did not pay for it.
what?
Wasn't done by the developer.
Oh, yeah, I know.
The rest of all Gateway was paid for by the people that bought lots in those areas that had the landscaping. This one was never done, so that's going to get
Yeah.
very controversial.
You know what also happens? All the people that lives in that community, like, also pay for all the maintenance for the other side. So it's kind of the same thing, you know? Like the maintenance on our contract for cutting and mowing
So,
zoysia,
I-
and the irrigation, we pay for it, but we don't get any of the benefits. So it goes both ways.
If I'm going to be completely honest, Laura and I are not clear with what you want moving forward on this. We have
For
given
Griffin?
you, for this
Griffin,
for this
didn't
Parks and Rec, because we've given numbers multiple times. We've told you of projects. If the intent is to put together basically what would be a soon-to-be supplemental trust indenture for borrowings and see where the numbers fall, we can do that. But we've talked and talked and talked, and I know the goal is to get our coverage, but, you know, we're still operating, we're still maintaining, we're still like, leagues are still renting opening days this Saturday for, I think, soccer. I just need a direction. And if the direction is, the goal is next year and I've got to figure out how to make that happen, I will do that.
Did our increases, have they gone into effect?
We haven't done additional increases yet. That, we have a public hearing coming to you in June for the next set of increases.
Which will go into effect for their fall season.
And that's 50% or 75% cost recovery number, which you heard it from them, $200 an hour is too much.
Separation when we get there.
If we can get to a number between 50 and 75% funded as outside source, I will support wherever we go. If we can get to that threshold through your initiatives with the naming and sponsorship and all, then it'll be a good faith effort to move forward.
So, and just remind me, right now, our revenue is 150 we're collecting, and what
Yes.
percentage of that today? are we
For
at?
fiscal '25, it was at 41% of expenses.
41.
So we almost have to double.
It's not bad,
Yeah,
but
it's not bad. But on the other hand, we got a lot of opportunities.
it's almost like we go,
If we can get it to 70,
or let's go to 60 next, and then, you know.
Well, keep in mind, you throw the lights back in, all butts are off.
Yeah, and then you change
so
the,
we got to deal with what we know today.
Yeah.
We get to 75% today.
And that's an excellent point. So are we taking 60% all in? I'm assuming so. P&I, any
Everything,
projects,
yeah.
anything.
That would be as low as it would go.
Okay. That's what I was under the
But that's a great
impression.
improvement over years past.
Okay. So we'll crunch the numbers and prepare the public hearing and get ready for that. We'll bring those numbers back to you. We do have a tentative fee schedule coming to you guys at the next workshop that you have for everything commons, everything forward with that, because that'll be here before you know it. But these large ticket projects, if you, yes. Oh, thank you. Thank
If
you.
it rains
We
too
need
hard
it.
right away, it's not good, but yeah.
Keep in mind, if you want to action these large ticket items with a supplemental trust indenture, I've got to get a TA from Tetra Tech. They've got to draft it and write it. We've got to get bond count. We've got to get everybody else involved, and that takes a little bit of time on top of budget starting up soon enough.
Then we make that determination after we see how these initiatives and getting sponsors are.
Absolutely.
We're testing the waters. We don't know what it's going to yield.
That's why I want to get the sponsorship package in front of you as soon as possible and get your at least buy-in on it. Tell all your rich friends that we've got naming rights available.
If
We got
I
naming
heard
rights.
things correctly,
I agree, no, I think,
I would say we want to
We'll consider
budget
it,
for
seriously.
these things in fiscal year '27.
Well, some of you already have it now, right?
I don't have anything budgeted
No.
for next year because you guys haven't told me the funding source. If
She
you, if-
wants some direction as to How soon and when?
The funding source and what? Because it keeps bouncing around. We aren't sure what do you want
But we
us
will
to
need, we will need a
propose?
workshop to literally,
think
to go
so.
through these and
Just
decision
this.
them.
Yeah,
Say,
and a final, like.
prioritize them and start to slate them.
Because, and like I said, I see things that I thought we agreed not to be there, and then they're back there, and then some stuff that, I
Well,
agree with
until, I
that.
think
like-
what Chelsea's saying, until we kind of vote and say, everyone,
So
this
it's a
comes
workshop.
off,
When all the costs are added and all the operation and maintenance and the capital amortized is added, and 50% of that, you've got that number covered, I'm ready to go. But if you don't, I'm not. 50%. So that means you've got a lot of work to get done to even get to the deal to say, go ahead.
Well, I don't think,
Lot of work.
I don't think in the first round, we're gonna get 50% of capital plus O and M.
I'm not willing to take the guess that we're going to do it for 1 year and then the next 2, 3, 4,
no,
5 years.
I get
If
that.
you've got a 20-year bond, you've got 20 years of cost you got to pick up.
Well, and if we can get 20-year commitments or 10-year commitments from sponsors.
Okay, so
That's-
workshop.
If you
Yeah,
get one.
that's right, well,
I just need, again, something to sell these people.
can we hijack one of the workshops that are coming up in the next, I don't know.
The next workshop was gonna be,
No, it doesn't have to be the next one. I think you're gonna need a little more time.
well, it was gonna be fees for the commons.
You need to, so then you have to restructure, then the next one needs to be this, and then one after has to be fees, because you need to know this first.
You're in the
A
budget
lot of
now.
time to get that put together.
You're in the budget.
For the first meeting in April. We can,
March, April, May, June, you're in the
Come
budget.
from like
This,
some of these
Do the
items
workshop.
that are not directly, I mean, some of them are, but some
Right
of these
here.
are independent of,
Yeah.
you know, like Zoysia at the Commons. Okay, well, we can have conversation on that.
well, that's a time-sensitive decision because
Yeah, it's
when are you gonna
happening.
plant it?
But
And
those
now.
are ones that are not tied to a revenue generation.
No.
So that one,
the
as an
deal.
example, are you, it's 500K
That's a
to-
lot.
for sod?
that's everything at the commons, 15 acres, well, minus the buildings and asphalt and everything, and irrigation.
And irrigation.
And then-
Okay, so I'd love to know what the
I thought-
split of that
yeah.
is. What is sod
They're,
versus
they're putting
irrigation?
together the change
Okay,
order
okay.
so I can print.
Somebody's
But-
coming in with a breakdown of all this.
OAK
and then-
is
Where do
putting-
where do you anticipate that funding source coming from?
That's what I need you guys to tell me.
I know, but like, what would you recommend? Is that a bond item or is
Well,
it?
if you're gonna do a
Because that has to
bond,
be now, that we have to find that fund somewhere.
if you're gonna do a bond, I'm gonna say throw it in with the bond.
Okay. Like,
And then-
because to me, like, just as an example, that's something that almost makes that full commons part
Part.
complete.
Yes.
It makes it, you know, where everything becomes usable because you've got nice grass, it's uniform, regardless of whether phase 2 or 3 or 4 aren't even developed. And then you can say, all right, we can look at walking paths around it, that becomes free space, and like, that could sit like that for years, and you don't have to put anything on it. Whereas if you have half the park split down the middle because you've got shit grass on one side and the other side is manicured, it's gonna look not complete, and it's not gonna be usable, because people aren't gonna want to go from one side to the other side where it's nice grass to.
How many acres of sod did you say?
14?
Well, the whole
15,
site
the whole
is 15. You gotta minus out all of the asphalt and everything.
So what is it,
Buildings
half?
I haven't seen the quote yet. They verbally told me what the number
It's
was.
250,000 square feet, $2 a foot, that you can't touch it. 500,000 won't touch it. No way.
No, they did get a quote from Mainscape. They verbally told me it was $500,000.
Including irrigation,
Yes.
that then ate half of 15 acres. There's no way.
Well,
No
hey,
way.
15 acres is
Numbers
the
don't
whole
add.
thing,
Are they
including
sodding or
like-
seeding?
15 acres is 650,000
No,
square
no.
feet.
There we go.
15
All right, well, let's
acres is
get
what
the
the
quote, and
pool
then
is,
we can pick it
everything,
apart.
If you, let's say, take half of that, and that's sod, that's 300,000 acres, or 300,000 square feet. You cannot get zoysia at $1.67 and include irrigation. I'm telling you, somebody's smoking something.
I don't think.
I'll bring it for
way.
you. You'll see it.
Yeah, I was gonna
Let's
say,
see
I
the
don't
quote,
think,
it'd be
I don't
nice.
think those is that it's.
Okay, so
that's-
can we get a workshop so we can go through this, prioritize?
In April,
Yeah, I mean, whenever.
that's your next workshop. So
Why can't we have one?
Maybe next week.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Bob, gonna.
You only come to half
Bob
of,
looked at him and said,
you only come to half the meetings.
The bald one at the end isn't buying
The 5th. The next meeting is on the 19th.
So
Can we have a workshop on the 19th?
if you're asking me to put together like hard numbers, like from Musco and stuff, I need time. I mean, I can give you estimates, but it's gonna like, these for the most part are, I mean, the $500,000 for the soccer complex, that's from the EOPC from Tetra Tech. The lights at pool, I got a quote from Musco 2 years ago. Landscaping, that's from the EOPC. Replacement of lights, I got to get that updated. The dog park to commons, rough estimate. Perimeter fencing, I could solicit a quote, but if you only want to do like the PrAC committee was saying, just the front, then I gotta go call and make a call and get an estimate. The Zoysia, again, I gotta call OAK and say, hey, send me the quote. So most of it's done. But
Here's, I think two things might be able to happen. Like we can go off potentially estimates, and then we can agree in principle. Okay, we really like the idea of having lights at the pool. That's something that we think it would increase the value of the pool, get more people using it, whatever. Okay, so let's prioritize that as a 2027 item. Okay, let's just say the dog park. Maybe we agree.
Doug, if you're doing all these, you're going to come back to the same thing. All of it's going to be under a common bond issue. So phasing them in going to make any difference.
No, but what
We
I'm
just
saying
need
is
to
that there
know
might,
accurate numbers.
but isn't it, you're looking for to give you direction on what we're going to do, what we're not going to do, and when we're going to do it.
well,
correct?
the biggest part is, to Ed's point, is the funding source. Because if you're gonna do a bond and you're gonna go through that exercise,
Fine.
do it one time, throw it all in and be done. But if you're saying, okay, we
I
want
thought we had, is this not possible in the 31?
it is.
Yeah, so,
You have to do a new bond issue, though.
we have to do, because we're adding new items.
Yes.
All right.
We've already,
All you got to do is do the engineer's report, get that redone. So we could.
So
do
we have a
that.
funding
They
source.
just need an
We
idea. of
we
what
have
we're
the
doing.
funding source. That's,
if you choose to use the bonds, yes.
well, I don't
Yeah.
think anyone would,
Yeah.
I don't know if
I
any,
think we
does
would
anybody
use
have
the
any other
bond.
option?
Yeah, I think-
No, I
You
think we
could
all
do-
agree we
you-
do a bond.
Yeah,
You
no,
could do
well,
a
you
bank
could.
loan.
You could do a 5-year instead of a 20-year.
Okay, so,
I-
but still,
I'm okay with 20 years because I don't know, I maybe,
Yeah, I won't be here. Thank you, darling.
Make it 25.
maybe, yeah.
You might be here in
so,
25.
but I think the decision is like funding source, we can figure that out. I think it's more like, what do we want to do? And like, what do we want to do next? And what's something we might want to push off
Okay,
to a
so
3 years?
Let's do this.
Modify this and make it as accurate as possible.
I
That,
agree.
and it'll be more of a capital projects
Plus or minus
discussion,
30%
capital
or
projects
whatever.
discussion, because then that'll wrap in your aerators. And we'll do it very broad stroke, but again,
Because here, let me just add one thing. We know if we use, let's say, another 10 to 15 million, we know what that amount's going to be as far as impacting assessment.
Generally.
So we know, and that's what we're trying to do, is we're trying to figure out what impact is that going to have on the community. It's like, if we want to stay within a certain assessment amount, I think. I mean,
What we need to
in
do is to
theory.
go back to what we was talking before on that last chart. Have you give us all of the capital items that we know or we foresee, include these, and then let's start going through them of how we want to do these and re-rank them.
Because, I mean, the funding amount to me, like, we know what impact that's going to have on assessment, by dollar amount. So if we just say, look, we believe we have an assessment tolerance of, 10 million or 15 million that residents can absorb and we're not going to get shot in our sleep. Then we can back into it. Okay, well, what items do we want to fund for that amount? It's different when we're trying to approve something that needs to be done, like whether it's ponds or irrigation or meters. Like these are just do it items. Some of these are not just do it. They're for cost of live or quality of life or whatever else. So that's where we need to pin these down. See, what do we want to do within the budgeted amount?
for me, it's the timing of a lot of these things. So like the Zoysia, the $500,000 in Zoysia, if you want to make that happen at the Commons, that decision needs to be made now and we've got to action that.
Like, to me, that's a
And
no-brainer.
find half a million.
Only thing I want on that is I want to see the details to know that that number is accurate. I don't want 500,000 become a million.
Yeah, exactly. We've been down that road. Okay.
So we'll schedule the April to be a workshop, a
So-
capital workshop.
The first April meeting?
Yes.
Okay.
I will boot the fee schedule to the next meeting. I'll give you as accurate numbers as I can up to that point.
Good.
Okay, so the next meeting, you're talking about the 19th.
No, ma'am.
No.
The first
That won't-
April
There's
meeting.
no way we can have this ready for the next meeting because we only have a week. That's not enough time.
April 1st.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Got to be
We have to
published.
have the
7
agenda
days
stuff
in
done by a
advance.
week. We have to have everything done a week ahead of time.
Oh, okay,
So it only gives us a week. It's not enough
okay,
time.
all right.
Next.
11D.
Okay, so this is the, I had the same question that Marty did to Chelsea earlier today. This bid for the engineering came in about 51,000. And the one from up above, the Griffin Drive, was about 30,000, something like that. So why the big difference? And so at risk of great life and limb today, I went slowly down the right side of tree line because Chelsea said there's a bunch of swales there, there's, and I did get honked at twice. Like,
called,
what
huh?
you doing, lady?
Oh.
Speed up here.
What's all that got to do with engineering fees?
Well, I
She's getting there.
understand why it's so much more, why it's 51 for the tree line one. And then when coming over here today,
29.
you look down Griffin
Nothing.
here and it's flat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, that impacts the construction costs, but I don't see how that impacts the engineering.
Designed for more time for moving drainage ditches and swales and permitting with there's more driveway cuts.
What you're saying is there's more activities associated with the construction of the tree line sidewalk, because this one's a pancake out here.
Yes, pretty
You
much.
have South Florida permits and you have all the design
Yeah.
elements.
Okay, I'll make a motion, we approve 11D for the engineering cost.
Gonna do D and E together, Bob?
Yeah, I'm sorry, yes, D and E.
I'll second that.
All in favor? Aye.
Source for both of those. One was out of the bond, the other, because we had some money left in the bond, the other was to be budgeted for next fiscal year.
Whatever you need to get the money from.
Or you can choose to pull the money for the tree line one out of reserves.
Only
Or if-
51,000.
Or if you're going to do another bond series, you would wrap that into the bond series.
We want to get it done this year, let's not put it in the bond series. Let's take it out of reserves.
You're not going to get construction done this year.
I didn't say that, the engineering.
You want to get the design
Get
done.
get that done this
Okay,
year.
so either it needs to, then it really needs to come out of reserves, the 51,000.
So
We need a
take
motion
that
for
Yes,
51.
please.
I'll make a motion, we take it out of reserves.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Okay, thank you. All right, I have one item.
Did you do both of them?
Yes,
Okay.
Bob made the motion, Carol second, or Ed,
Doug
Doug seconded. You have in front of you a pretty graphic. I was contacted today. Lee County Natural Resources is trying to go to the legislative session and get support from Byron Donalds for essentially an adjustable weir at 6 Mile and Daniels. They need
Two of them there.
two. Okay. Ultimately, they need support in this. The city of Fort Myers is drafting a letter. I would like to draft a letter and support the county in that because ultimately it ties the slough into 10 Mile, which pushes water out, and that the slough impacts us. So I'm looking for your approval to send a letter of support.
Wait a minute here. I want to make sure this is critical. All of the water out of Gateway is coming down this path. They do anything to putting in any type of a weir that
Restriction.
does anything
Cork in the
other
bottle.
than going down is not in our best interest.
Well, I looked at it and I thought the same thing you did, but I thought, well, if they have an adjustable weir in anticipation, they can lower it
That's the
to accept
intent.
greater
That's the
volume.
intent.
If that's
My
what their
point
intent is.
My point is the control, let's put it in the words we know. If the control elevation's going up, I'm
Not
not
good.
for it.
No, but
At
if
all.
just to go down, no
Just to
higher
go
than it
down.
is today.
Last thing we want is that when that goes up,
Oh,
all
good.
that does is make our ability to
And how
control
about these
water
words?
that worse.
That it is no higher than the existing one today, but potentially lower, we support it.
To help,
The
to
adjustable.
help expedite flow out of the system, not retain.
And in anticipation of
Yeah.
impending
I
storms.
just do not want the control elevation
To be
under
any higher.
any circumstances to go up.
I
Right.
can draft that in the letter and,
Then
if.
I'm
and
willing
put
to
that-
move.
They need it by 3 o'clock tomorrow, so
Get on it.
Use your best words. You know our intent.
I'll work with
As
Tony.
Ed
I already
said,
sent you a draft.
no higher,
Yeah,
we'll
did?
we'll
George already
accept
put it on
lower.
letterhead.
You've not seen it?
I did.
Must be
And
good.
it's a pretty
Can you
graphic,
print it then?
Do
We
you
have to
need
tweak
sign
it.
that stuff?
very pretty map.
Yeah, we will.
But I think those are excellent points to put in the letter. And I
Okay.
think one other aspect of the letter that, to get the point across to Congressman Representative
The only
Donald.
thing that I thought over there, when I drive by and look at it without trying to wreck at that interchange, I thought that was a fixed weir now.
It is.
So the control.
wanna adjust.
They want
They want
to
it
make it adjustable. but-
Down.
Okay, just as long as they make sure it's understood.
Tony had a
It's-
good point about adding the number of,
Registered voters and residents in the district. That's always gets the attention of elected representatives.
Why is this at Byron Donald? He's federal.
Yeah, it's federal funding.
federal, it's a legislative
Oh, okay. I
fund.
thought it was
Federal
South Florida Water Management.
No, it's a federal,
Running for
it's
governor.
federal funding request.
Well, yeah, he'll be governor soon, right?
So if I can just get your support in supporting the county.
You need a motion?
Yes, ma'am.
So moved.
Second.
On favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay.
What they need to do is clean that channel out all the way down.
Funny you mentioned that, there's either a news story or the news press or one of the TV stations where they've been clearing it out to 10 mile further south. And the people are upset because they're taking too much of the vegetation along the banks out because.
What's causing the problem?
Brazilian pepper,
That's the quirk.
no, exotic vegetation and mangroves, but there's some graphics of it.
The guy I spoke to said that he was getting a lot of complaints about that.
There's some
Go
great,
down there to, like, if you're going to
Island Park.
Nico Road, turn right, and go
Island
back
Park.
north up 41 and you cross the bridge.
Island Park.
That is nothing but choked in there. They need to clean it out.
That's what they're working on. If you look at, there's a news story about that. I can send that. It's
What a mess.
a pretty good.
I don't
picture.
have anything else. Other than, no, that's all I have.
Your turn.
Tony?
Just working with Chelsea and Pedro and Gilberto, everybody else on the bond issue. Man, just routine matters. That's it. Unless you have any questions, or,
Chop liver
Questions
over
on
here.
thank you.
Agenda management, we got a heavy meeting at your next meeting. So we got a public hearing.
I'm gonna be in Brazil, that means.
I might be in Argentina.
So Flavia, I said, hey,
All right.
so just letting you guys know, prepare
Not my
for,
fault that the thing wasn't working. We saw, I took a
prepare for a long
screenshot.
night.
E-bikes on district properties, who's attacking that deal?
Nobody, it's in purgatory.
Chelsea and Paul.
Well, last that I recall, Tony was going to look into statute that something has changed about,
Thought they had recently.
yeah, they recently upgraded statute.
Or e-bikes,
Mhm.
they haven't changed it. They haven't adopted.
Oh, they haven't adopted,
Not
okay.
yet.
So there's,
They're still,
Legislature's working on it.
they're still
Yeah.
tinkering around with a lot of
Okay.
things.
all right, so it's purgatory.
There was an accident at the intersection of 82 and,
Colonial?
no,
Tree line?
Tree Line. Right at that.
Colonial Tree Line.
82 and
Colonial.
Colonial and Tree
Tree Line
Line?
doesn't intersect.
Or,
82.
the road the Pelican's on.
Colonial.
Colonial.
No.
Tree Line.
Colonial and
I'm
Tree
sorry,
Line.
Colonial and
Tree
Tree
Line.
Line. Yes,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. A couple nights ago, there was someone on an e-bike. They were laying in right by the stoplight at the turn, laying in the middle of the road. They had EMS, two
Quite a few accidents at that intersection.
enforcement officers and an ambulance.
If it's anybody, it probably wasn't our people.
No, and it was a kid,
These things are dangerous.
Yeah.
but
All right, anything else to add to Chelsea's
Nope.
book?
Please don't.
All right. Okay, so we'll go ahead and we'll move on to.
Agenda's full.
As we get into April and May and we start digging into the budget, if we need additional meetings, we do not have any big travel plans, so wouldn't mind additional meetings to iron some of this stuff out if we have to.
Yeah, same here. The only thing that now I do work, so I just need to be ahead of time and work around that schedule.
When do you want to address that
Under
Stony
super-
Brook
su-
resident?
Supervisor comments.
Okay.
Okay, so I was gonna start. We're gonna go ahead and supervise comments. Carol?
None.
Dad?
None.
Bob?
Do we have a resale capital fee that we impose on people in Gateway?
No.
No, only HOAs really usually do that.
Oh, HOAs? Is it an opportunity for us to?
I don't believe we have that authority to do that.
Okay. Second thing is the FPL project in Pelican is going along very, very well. I would like to get, I don't know if this information is currently available, but what areas in the total, what percent has installed conduit?
Almost of
And
100.
what percent have the new poles been installed? And in what percent are the poles energized? And what is the status of removing the old poles? I know they've got some of them identified, but at least it would give me a sense of following the progress. Because they don't work every day, so some days I see things going on, then I don't see anything happening. Some days the lights are on, and the next day they're not,
They'll be done by the end of the month,
the end of March.
the end of this month.
Meaning?
They're almost done with everything. They're-
All the new poles are in, all the old poles will be out,
Yes,
all of it?
that's the last update.
Good, okay.
Conduit's almost done, but the landscaping, where we got to come and bring in sod, that'll
That's the least of my,
Okay.
if it's functional,
Eh,
then I'm happy.
end of
It'll
the
be done
month
by
is-
the end of the month.
Yep.
Thank you. That's what I wanted
Do you
to
still
know.
want the percentages?
No, not if it's going to be done that quickly.
Okay, yeah.
By the time they develop, it'll be done.
Yep.
I'm good.
Anything else?
Nope.
Doug?
Yeah, so there is a resident in Stony Brook. I'm just going to show you two pictures and then Laura's going to pull up something. So they identified a leak next to their meter. You see the water
Yep,
overflowing?
oh, sure do.
When that water settled, they took a picture and you can see where a root is cut and the PVC, you see.
Yep,
That's
yep,
the
yep,
reason.
yep, yep, yep.
For me, because
So here's I'll show you two together.
What's the bypass?
Yeah, Doug, if you
Yeah.
could forward that to Chelsea for the record.
So, here's
It was.
the
Right here.
You already have it? Okay.
resident noticed
Oh, there it
this.
is. The video, though.
You can see
That's our new meter pit.
that there was all this water coming up next to it. So when the
Is
wa-
that in this, covering this?
I'll show you. I'll explain that to you. When the water dried, they took a picture and a root was cut and you could see there's a cut in the
Oh, I see it right
irrigation
here.
line.
Okay.
So
Okay.
somebody was cutting the root and accidentally hit the
Yeah, yeah.
irrigation
Right,
line.
it's
So-
PVC.
In talking with Chelsea, the rule is if the line,
The policy.
huh?
The policy.
The policy, sorry. If something happens and a line isn't marked, then it's not the installer's
Correct.
responsibility. So what you're looking at is go to one.
Sorry,
I'm
Mouse
sorry,
is
go
not,
to.
Mouse is
Just
not.
tell me this. Oh,
Huh.
This is, the road is here, right here? Is here where the
Which
road
side
Yeah,
of
is?
the
yeah, you can see the
Meter we looking
sidewalk.
at?
There's the sidewalk, all right?
Are we all looking at the same
So it's
picture?
before the
Yeah.
meter, so that's our responsibility.
Yeah.
Yeah. it's done.
100%. That's all I need to know. If, what the desk is what the road is. If the road's right here, the meter's right here, it's our
The
responsibility.
white pipe on the right is the customer's pipe.
I understand, but the
Beyond-
location.
So the
It
argument is,
doesn't, the location does not matter. It is the property owner's pipe.
It's not a supply line.
the argument is what you're seeing here is the old meter,
I'm looking here, guy.
and that red circle was basically where the old meter would have been. So when they went to pull this out, that irrigation line on the right would have been visible. Like there's no way they could have avoided not seeing that.
The irrigation on the line, I'm confused here. The irrigation
This is
line,
irrigation right here.
that
There's three
white
lines.
line with
Yes.
the deal,
Yeah.
that's the line that's cut.
That's the line it's cut. Now, if you go to the next slide, where it's cut is go to 2. Where it's cut is where that red circle is on the left, right here. That's where it was cut.
So hold on. So the water, this is the irrigation meter on the left.
Yeah.
It goes through his line, it goes onto his solenoid, and then it must wrap around and come
It
back
actually
and serve
goes,
an area.
yeah, it actually comes.
Or it comes this
Yeah,
way.
it comes this way.
It's that guy's deal.
This is where it's
It's all
cut.
his. Doesn't have anything to do with us.
But look, this is where it was cut. The argument is they would have known this line is existing when they were excavating. So this was done at some point, and it had to have been done after, because you can see the root here. So this was cut post excavation. This is so close, they would have known the line existed. Someone just got sloppy.
Not only
and
that,
cut a root.
this looks like a repair that is freshly done.
Right.
Okay,
that
so
was done-
let's just go with that.
So that must have been done
This
during.
this is repair. I mean, I'm no expert. This repair with this blue thing here, that looks like
It's
it was
not noted in
just,
the field report, but
this
but that's
was,
brand new.
look like this.
What are you asking?
The resident wants Met Tower to come out and just fix that place where they cut.
Because they fixed
They've
one,
acknowledged
but they didn't
cutting
fix, they
You're-
fixed this one, but not that one.
We don't know that they fixed that.
Okay, would we
Well, I
ask? I mean,
What is
You
that,
have-
1-inch line?
Yeah, I mean, I'm
Yeah.
worried about bucks money
Two,
here.
two couplings and a little bit of glue and it's fixed.
$20, you got it done.
Let me be clear.
It's easy.
Let me be clear. So the policy has been, if the things are not marked,
Correct.
I cannot hold the contractor accountable
Responsible,
for
correct.
damages that are done.
But-
That is,
But the purpose of marking is what?
so that way they know,
There.
So if they're digging this out and that line becomes visible, then they know that the line exists. So any damage post, they're
you're assuming that when the cut occurred, that it was visible to them.
Well, the bottom
had to
line
have
is that I agree with the policy. We ought to stay with the policy. But in this particular case, we're spending more time talking about it than it'll take to fix it.
Okay, so-
You're exactly right. It's peanuts to
It's
fix
peanuts.
that.
Just tell them to go fix
So
it.
Met Tower's going to want additional
Well, then you
compensation
give
for
them
this.
additional compensation. If it's more than $20, then we know to talk about it.
Give Isaac some glue and
Yeah.
2 fittings, he'll have it fixed in about
20 minutes. The problem's gonna be digging a hole.
All right.
The repair's nothing.
Yeah,
and the lesson
We'll
here
be at your
is-
house.
we're trying to say that this was not done.
Doug
like,
will be at
We're
your
trying to
house.
say that this
No, no,
repair
no.
was just not
It's-
done.
let me
Come
be
on.
Because she's
clear.
saying it wasn't identified.
Let
And
me
you're
be-
right.
Let me be clear. Met Tower acknowledges it was cut, okay? But the policy has been, if it is not marked, they are not responsible,
We agree.
okay? But now you're contradicting that.
We are.
And saying,
So
Because it wasn't marked and they damaged something, that they're still responsible.
my deal,
you're saying.
If they dug that hole
Yes.
and then they cut it,
You don't know when they cut it.
it doesn't
the
matter.
issue. That's the unknown.
It's theirs.
My thing is that if there is always the issue that you do not know where all these things are and mark them. You can't do it. It's just not physically possible to do it. But that doesn't mean we got staff that fixes this. We don't
Right.
even need to bring Met Tower into this
Right.
unless we can prove that Met Tower knew it was there and he cut it after the fact.
We
I mean,
had,
is
That's
this a
the only
relationship, is
way.
this a relationship we have with a vendor that we were giving him millions of dollars?
Right.
And
They're gonna
my
nickel and dime
question,
us. No.
my question goes to that, because this happened in Hampton Park a bunch of times.
This is
Hold on, let me
policy.
finish, Chelsea. I've been to Hampton Park. I'm extremely frustrated with Matt Tower because he left that place a pig pen with nothing but water bottles everywhere, drinks everywhere, and homeowners had to pick it up. So are we gonna then hire someone from our staff and then build Matt Tower to picking up that? Because I'm not talking about one, I'm talking about 30 plus. And you've been there with me and you saw nothing but disgusting crap all over the place. So I feel like this is nitpicking. This is
Yes.
not working with us.
Yes.
Okay? This is absolutely.
to even bring it up.
And I can tell you
It's
that.
not worth my time.
I can tell you, if you look at that white pipe, it is not consistent with the coloring of,
And that's what I'm
something was,
saying.
there's no picture of them of before. I think,
So you feel that the U-joint that they put in there was done,
it was done so they could fit the box in. Because if you go to, you can't see it here, but the box they put in,
The square box, they
It
needed to
fits.
do this or to do the
they
square
had to do it.
box.
So if they touched the pipe to cut it, to make room,
and water would have been in there if you'd known it, so.
Especially if it's
I see what
pressurized.
you're saying.
yeah, So the
Now-
recommendation is to
And
have it fixed.
The other part, and I'll tie in exactly what Flavia was saying, when we had Copeland Southern Enterprises doing our downspout work, I can't tell you how many lines they cut, and they fixed them all. Whether it was an irrigation line or a cable line or any, we never even heard about it. They just automatically fixed it. That's a good supplier. And with this one, Met Tower should have just fixed it, kept right on going, not said anything to anybody.
Do you have a picture of with the box installed?
Yeah.
Let's see what that looks like, just to know.
Yep, that's what it looks like.
So you.
So they would not have been able to fit the box had they left it.
What's the
The way it
line?
was.
We go
And so there's the
scan up.
cut.
What's the connection into that line? Is that a sprinkler head?
I think so.
Looks like it.
It's gotta
I
be a
think it
sprinkler
runs
head.
off to
Yeah,
a
it's a
sprinkler
sprinkler
head somewhere.
Pop up.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a pop-up.
So Doug will be at your house. I'll have them at your house tomorrow.
Okay. You're telling me the other Doug, right?
Huh?
Staff Doug?
Yeah, that doesn't look good right there.
And that, when I saw that, and then it's like, we want to work with each other. They don't work for us, we don't work for them, we work together. But seriously,
If they've got the fittings, again,
They got it, it's right in the
15
truck.
minutes and that's done.
Well, and hold on, I don't want to bash them because they have addressed this. When was your box done?
August.
August.
Is this your house?
And,
Is this his house?
Yeah.
Oh, forget everything I
And-
said. Screw it.
and here's the other
Is
thing.
it?
This was done in August.
This is your house?
Yeah. So there.
Oh, we didn't get full
I
disclosure.
thought he said it was a redneck.
But
Well, it
the other
wouldn't
issue
matter
is,
to me.
and Leslie needs to pull like if there's
Oh,
been,
now
it's been
it's-
leaking water this whole
Oh, here we
time.
go. Now we're gonna have to give him money.
That resident's going to have to come to the board and make the request.
On time.
I want to be clear. So Met Tower, the time at Hampton cleanliness inside their construction zone, could it have been better? 100%. Have they gotten better? 100%. Have they made other repairs of things that they've 100% nicked? Yes. This, Doug, I'm assuming this line that was nicked is on a zone that doesn't run all the time? Because we would have.
No, it runs when the
After
irrigation's
the
on.
meter, so it wouldn't
And
be
the zone,
leaking
the
the whole
zone
entire
this is
time.
connected
No,
to,
this is behind the meter. This is on his zone. This is
Green Divers
his
would have fixed it, you'd have never heard about
private
it.
property.
That's what I'm asking.
Stream would have just fixed
where
it.
You see
Brad
what
would
the
have just
picture of
fixed
the actual the irrigation meter, that's what I was asking. If it's down, then it doesn't matter, it wouldn't be leaking the entire time. Because it already passed the meter, that's what the other picture was, that's what I was asking before. Here, right here, the meter for his property.
Yes.
Is it here or is it here? The irrigation,
The meter is right there in the picture.
This is what this is. This goes over to a solenoid, it goes around and comes down to another
Yeah.
zone.
so,
That's just one of his 5 or 6 zone
so
lines.
you have a loop for your house?
So the water was leaking out of a zone that's on the downstream side of the
So
meter.
there's no way to measure that. We can look, I'll
But-
pull,
but-
I'll
but
pull
my
it.
point is, like, this has been leaking
Well, you
since
can
August.
measure what it would
And
be,
it's-
it's just take
it's
the last 2
finally-
months' readings.
It's finally eroded the water through the leak for now to be visible. So this has been leaking since
It
August.
undercut the sod and stuff,
August.
yeah.
So that I've been paying for.
So they'll be there,
anyway.
they'll be there tomorrow to
Okay,
fix it.
awesome. Thank
But-
you all.
All of, and I asked Doug to bring this in front of you because how we have operated to date has been, if it is not marked, how can I say to Met Tower, you got to go fix this?
Let me ask one question. Are we sending the letters to homeowners and saying, hey, it's your responsibility to mark?
We say it in the town hall and we notify.
No, that's not what I asked.
No.
Are we
We don't- we
sending
do
a
not- we
letter?
do
So
not
don't
send a
tell
letter.
me yes, Laura, when I'm asking a specific question, is it, when we're sending out those letters and saying the project is starting, means we're going to be responsible from here to here. If you don't mark it, we're not responsible. We're not sending
We
out.
say that in the town hall. We do not send that in specific letters.
And the only thing that I would add to Med Tower as part of their standard operating procedure
Yeah,
is,
but it's easy, because
Yeah.
then we don't have to do anything.
Well, we send out an
You can
email
add one
blast.
sentence.
One
and-
sentence is easy.
and I'm sure they're doing this, but when lines are visible during their excavation, that they just use due diligence.
No, they do.
And, well, not always, but,
This, you have to admit, that cut was hard to see. Even you had to reach down and feel it. So, and I can promise you, in the, out of over half of the, we're 3/4 of the way through this project, to have, you know, one or two every now and then, things happen.
Well, the only thing that my neighbor had the exact same thing happen to him, and he, you know, ultimately, you know, had to fix it, but he had the same thing.
Where's the root
meter
at
line
that
was-
And you know what's happening, right? Because
There must have, it was on top.
everything is dry right now, so
Yeah.
people are not gonna know until it's literally soaked or when rainy season comes up, and
Root
that's
was
gonna
up on
see it.
top of it.
Because that's what happened with FPL. So they may be more, we just don't know. But again, I'm not gonna throw
But
it out there.
it wasn't intruding into the meter box.
But you can see from a management perspective, and this is why I asked
no
Doug
qualms.
to bring this, is this is deviating from the policy. I made, just like anything else, I made an administrative decision. Every resident has the right to come in front of this board and make this request, and so you guys have opined on that. So again, you might see more of these, especially as we get into Gateway Greens with a lot more routes, and they have to cut.
Yeah, they're pretty cranky people over there.
You might want to send out a blast.
You may want to add that sentence that we just talked about. It's, you know,
Well, what
they
happened in
choose not to
Gateway
do
Greens
it,
is
and they
what
choose not
happened
to
in the
do
rest
it.
of the community.
But
1,439 residents and 20 show up at a meeting.
Well, but I
They don't even
like
know what's going
Flavia's
on.
idea of maybe sending something direct,
No,
because
it's just opening Pandora's box.
about sending a letter.
I mean, we're 80% through with this already.
We're wrapping up all of these
Yeah.
little communities and moving to Gateway Greens, and
Let's,
then we're done.
Or maybe we just make sure that we send something to the presidents,
The HOA and
the
let them know.
HOAs, and let
president.
them manage through it, because
Your biggest problem you've got on this right here is that unless you own the house and you build it, nobody knows where their service or
That is
zone
correct.
lines go.
That is
They
correct.
don't know where they go.
had
So
no
you
idea
can
that was
ask them till you're blue in the face to mark it.
Won't be a
They're
thing.
not going to
they're not
be
gonna be
able
able
to
to find
mark
it.
it.
Like, I didn't know that
They're
was
not going to
there.
be able to find it.
Well, and that was the conversation that Doug and I had, was he said, how am I supposed to know where it's at? And I said, well, how is the contractor supposed to know where it's at? So if every single time we just cut and capped and cleaned and, you know, somebody cried wolf that we damaged their ball valve, you know, this project budget I wouldn't have had a budget. It would have been blown out the wazoo. So that's why the policy has historically been this.
But on the other hand, and I agree with you, Chelsea, something like this, they just should have fixed
Understood.
without even
It
talking
needs a
about it.
fix, yeah.
The other item I had is, I had a brief conversation with Chelsea, and what I would like for Parks and Rec, whether it's Kathy or they nominate, I'd like for us to pilot us managing a league. And I think a great one to start is just bocce. We could have talk to folks at Pelican. I know Gateway Greens has a bocce court. We have one here, but maybe we could start with a 4-team
It's extremely popular.
bocce league, and we would do it maybe by, like Pelican might have a team, they might have 2
What
teams.
about
or 4
on this
teams.
facility here
Well, it would rotate.
or
So
in the new park?
well, it would be here. I want them to stand it up as quickly as possible. But the thing is, like, we would have a bocce court here. I would love to talk to Pelican about, let's say, if it's the Pelican team playing someone else, you play at your home court.
There's 20 teams in Pelican.
You allow someone to come over. If I would even maybe talk to the club, see if Gateway Greens wants to put a team together. If so, they would play their home matches at the club. I don't, if they.
We
would
don't
agree
have
with
enough
that.
bocce courts in Pelican. We can't wait for us to build them here.
Yeah. But I thought maybe it might be a good opportunity for us to kick the tires on what goes into starting a league and managing it.
We don't have the capacity right now to do it, to start it. It's something we can consider in the summer with the summer shutdown, but we've got the pool.
From a
From a staffing standpoint. So we have,
Get volunteers.
What would staff have to do?
We'll take volunteers to get it
Coordinate.
organized, coordinate the team,
Sell it.
allocate the time schedule.
What you do is you just have a sign up,
Because you can't have everybody show up at the same time.
schedule.
Yeah.
I mean, and say, okay,
have- okay.
Pelican A and is playing Gateway Greens 2 on matches are on Tuesdays and Thursdays at
It's a lot of
10
emails.
o'clock,
It's a
11 o'clock.
volunteer kind of position.
I thought you were asking the committee to do this.
I don't care who does it. I just think we need to start getting into programs.
I
And
told,
and when we do it, let's not make it a paid staff function. Let's encourage, maybe go to PrAC, encourage they solicit
It's that
volunteers.
I have heard, you may talk to people that do that, but I have not heard one single person in Gateway Greens say a thing about, let's do this, let's do that, just do that? Nobody.
Well, they don't in Pelican either
They
until
don't
the
go outside
facility's
the
there.
community.
But once the facility's there, boy, they come like ants out of a chocolate cake.
Well, it depends, because we got that facility at the club.
Oh, you got
So
bocce there?
Yeah, they got you, and that's what I was thinking. You have nice facility and I hardly ever see it used.
Oh, my God.
Very seldom used, because nobody cares about it.
Ours is used from 7 to
It's not a
7.
big, it's
So
not a
like-
big deal.
So maybe that's,
Pickleball's the sport,
Yeah.
not body.
Well, we got
But
both.
if we could promote, like, let's say Pelican's got 4 teams, if we could just
So you guys
communicate it
push it to Prac?
within Gateway Greens.
Yeah, this is a prac thing.
This is not a staff function right
No,
now. We've got
correct.
the deck, we've got the pool surface decks
And it's
happening.
and they can, if they charge $10 a team or $20 a team, whatever it is, they can keep the revenue
We
for
don't,
Prac.
we don't have that in our fee schedule right now.
Over leagues?
Yeah.
Okay, so then we start off as, hey, we're just
That's why I
organizing
said
it.
summer, because then
Yeah.
you guys are gonna do a fee schedule. And I had to talk to Carrie about doing a co-ed adult kickball to start, because that's would be
And if
net
it was
new.
me, I would look to someone in Pelican that might want to help organize.
And Schofield is a
and-
member of prac, and he could do
and
that.
alleviate some of the
Yeah,
usage
Joe would be
here.
great. So delegate that down to members.
So you wanna push a prac?
Yes.
And that's what I would
Absolutely.
do.
How many bocce courts are gonna be at the new?
2, 4?
4.
We have 2, and they want 4.
Yeah.
We have two, like.
Yeah.
And then you gotta lock up the balls and stuff. I mean, there's a little bit of housekeeping
Yeah.
with it.
Well, and that's,
They bring the
But I'm
ball.
sure the club would love to see more activity on the, if you got members plus guests, which would be the other teams.
well, okay, so I think this is a great, we just had our joint prac meeting and you guys talked about programs. I think this is a good direction to push to prac as a volunteer. Let them do the legwork. Staff can be a supporting function, but I don't want staff right now to be the lead function. In the summer, we can contemplate
I'll
it.
be on a team.
Maintenance
I can
of
play
the
it.
bocce court.
They're really,
Barely any,
they're not,
because
there's not a lot.
synthetic-
At the new course?
Well, it's like a tennis court.
Yeah.
Every
You- you-
time you get done playing, they wanna rake it,
Yes.
smooth it, and all that stuff. Who's gonna do it?
The participants, that's who does it
Why
in
is our
Pelican.
bocce,
Our
like,
teams do it.
grass?
Our club members
Like
won't,
a
they
third.
won't, they
I've
got
only ever
staff
played on
doing it.
grass.
It's only, it's,
It's grass.
our new ones gonna be.
That's the only 2 items I have. So I'm done.
On Fridays, when John and I play bocce, when you get done, somebody goes and they takes the thing and they
Yeah.
rakes it and boom.
If I saw that happen over there, I'd probably drop over.
Well,
They get done, they go straight to the bar. They
Okay.
won't do anything else.
Prac is gonna handle a
But the
body
good news
program.
at the Commons Bar, we won't have a bar. So
We'll be teaching
least
them
not
the
in the
right
beginning.
way from the beginning.
that's phase 3 that I'm working on right now.
All right, nothing else then?
No, that's it for me.
I have just a few things. So
A
the
few?
traffic, the traffic light, I know, we had some complaints about the Griffin being totally stopped from people taking 40 minutes from 7-Eleven to, Silver Lakes and then you talked to Lee County about
You mean the
increasing.
light up here?
The light on Griffin and 82, I guess, between 5 and 6, only 4 or 5 cars can actually go before the light turns red.
You
So
gotta
Chelsea,
recycle it.
so Chelsea reached out to them and they increased it. They didn't tell us how long, but I did see it got better. I only had one resident send a thing that
So
saying it
there's
was too
cars
bad.
going
No, it's-
west, turning left into Gateway.
No, it's cars
Trying to
cutting
leave
through,
Gateway.
going to Lehigh.
Going to 82.
Because going to Lehigh, you can only go cross
You mean
4
go
cars.
across, okay.
And then the other lane, you turn right.
But one car blocks it. and-
Yeah, so one car blocks it and can't do it, but I think it's actually better.
Good.
FWC, the report, is it better than Lee County Sheriff's Office for the
So-
detail?
We stopped detail for now. I actually have a meeting with him tomorrow. They've only written a handful of tickets, which is a handful more than the sheriff wrote. But I am having a conversation with him tomorrow about the intent is tickets. The whole reason we went away from the sheriff's office was because they didn't write tickets. And so I am going to reiterate that tomorrow. Again, it's kind of a per deputy decision. So I'm going to walk into that conversation and say tickets or no detail. And that's because that is what I understand from this board.
All right, I just wanted to know, yeah, otherwise.
Everybody's got enough
So-
warnings.
The speed out there is absurd.
You've had enough warnings, it's time to ticket them.
don't need to educate anymore.
Yes.
And then the other thing I have,
Warn.
I guess this is like, for the board. So Ernesto's last day is March 9th. And I thought it would be nice for us to send a letter thanking for his service and partnership throughout all the years with not only Pelican, because he's been instrumental for Pelican, for Gateway as well. So if the board is okay with it, if
Absolutely.
staff can do a letter, I mean, I won't be able to
That would be
attend,
nice.
but on the 9th, they are having, their annual meeting. And if we can either send him that letter, or somebody from staff can go.
What day of the week is the 9th?
I don't know.
Monday.
Monday.
Do we have a hoodie and a hat we can give him?
I have a hat.
Yeah, my
March the
hoodie.
9th, that's Monday.
I give them a water
Monday,
sample.
okay.
Give him a nice water bottle.
With a pond sample.
We still use those, Ed.
Or one of the memorial poles.
Oh, I remember those too.
we broke
I
a
must
bunch
have
of
one in
those.
my
Oh my God,
garage.
those
Remember
poles.
those?
Oh,
my, and then
God.
tie
God, I
strap
hated
and then the
that.
Do we
can.
want to do a small, less than $25 plaque or
That's fine,
something?
yeah,
Plaque.
I mean, he's done a lot
He's
for us
done a
over
lot.
the
I
years.
mean, the amount of money he saved us, allowing us to do all those testings over there.
As many
That's all I have to say. You know about that
Oh,
so
yeah.
much.
bottles as he took in that we weren't
Supposed to.
supposed to be doing.
Yeah, so I think,
Should
I think.
Probably be worth
more
a good
than-
dinner at Outback.
Yeah, I think a little bit more than 25 will be. All right, that's it. That's all I have.
Make a motion, we adjourn?
Second. All right.
Lots of signature stuff.
Yeah. Oh, really? Look at that. Really being much on.